do you think Zeus or God or Jesus or Allah needs to pick up a weight? It takes so much conscious energy to do what I'm doing, to go so many, hundreds of days without eating, to have muscles without working out, without atrophying, to balance multiple lovers, multiple partners, travel around the world, do podcasts and still like stay up sometimes for 3 days straight. The guide is like 80 to 90% everything else besides what you eat.
Why do you drink blood? Welcome back to The Light Leaders. I'm again with Mikey, and I'm excited for this follow-up episode. So for context, we did an episode, I think it was 2 weeks or maybe 10 days ago. And people send me your profile. They were curious because you're talking about not eating, not working out, and you have that great muscular body, glowing skin, glowing eyes. And so we did a first podcast of about an hour to kind of do an introduction. And I want to tell my audience that's a bit how I roll sometimes. If I'm curious about someone and I want to have a conversation, sure, I'll do a little bit of research, but in general, I'm like, okay, well, let's have a conversation and let's record it and share it publicly. And that's how I like to roll. So since the first conversation, I've had a interesting feedback. I've had most people who are super curious, were excited, love your vibe, and the example that you set also through like doing things differently and being authentic in that way, but also quite different than what many people do. I also had people who were very skeptical. They were like, "There's no way this guy's not working out. There's no way he's not eating and having these results." And I've had people also who were not so happy that I featured you because of some of the things you consume. And so I'd love to start the podcast with that. And that's obviously a representation of the audience, which is a very high vibe audience, really interested in doing things different, making the best out of life, and at the same time, of course, want things to be real and as ethical also as possible. Yeah. Thank you so much, first, Mikey, for being back on the show. How have you been in the past like 10 weeks or 10 days or 2 weeks?
Dude, it's so freaking amazing. Like, life is so beautiful, man. I just want to cry. Like, every day is like heaven on earth. Like, I get to get the sun on my skin. I get to breathe fresh air. I feel so elated. I feel so orgasmic. I feel so blissful. Every day I wake up, I'm like, oh my God, here we go again. And it's just unreal. It's just like, it's surreal. It's just like people are waiting to die to go to heaven. But when you really understand what all this is, you can live heaven right now. And it's not like normal day-to-day experience. It is true expansion of life itself. And the fact that I'm here is just like, I'm honored, man. So yeah, it's been good. It's been a couple good days.
Amazing. Amazing. I'd love to go straight into a topic that some people have asked me about. I saw some people being like, oh, I can't believe Alex had Mikey on his channel. He says he's drinking blood, he's eating animal organs. And just so you know, I actually have a bit of a following in the, you would label it like maybe raw vegan, fruitarian type of community. And when we did the first interview, I had no idea actually. And that's fine, we'll have the conversation, but I didn't know. And then I saw you open about it, you talk about it.
I'm all about everything, man. Multiple lovers, what I do, how I live, sea, travel here, everything.
Yeah. And obviously when it comes to people who are into plant-based eating, veganism, often there's an ethical component where maybe they feel like there's something not right, either ethically about consuming animal, or sometimes even in spiritual communities, something like maybe about the energy, if there's the stress of the animal, the suffering that we consume. So yeah, I'm curious. So you do drink blood, for example, sometimes to start with. Like, why do you drink blood?
Oh man, that's a great question. Why do I drink it? It just feels right. It just feels like the thing to do. And obviously it's how my results and how I look and how I am and my body and everything else. No one told me to drink blood. I didn't go on a scientific journey to go figure out like what's the scientific benefits of drinking this. I don't care. I just go what I vibe with, what I feel like. And the blood was there, so I drank it. So I've traveled all around the world. I've hung out with tribesmen. Actually, funny enough, one of the local people here in Nepal actually made me a hunting bow to go hunting with here. There's a jungle behind my house, and they gifted me with this. So they made me a bow with some like homemade arrows from bamboo and stuff like that. So I got to hang out with tribes and people all over the world. And some of these people drink blood. Some of these people do plant medicine. Some of these people do this and that. So whenever they were slaughtering some of the animals, I saw the blood. Usually they toss it or give it to the dogs. I'm like, you know what? Let me save it and keep it. This was back in Ecuador. And ever since then, I've been drinking blood. It's probably like 4 years ago.
Nice.
And
And
yeah. So,
what do you feel it does for you?
oh my God, dude. Oh, like the moment you intake it, there's like this superpower charge. I used to drink energy drinks and I've done pre-workout stuff or like this type of like caffeine or whatever. This gives you such a charge. It's almost like I can just go and never stop, like unlimited energy. And whenever like it comes into my body, it's more of like it's like an onboarding of, and it really engages me more with life, and I can just keep going and going. So it's hard to explain because it's unlike anything else, but the moment I do it, I engage with reality deeper. I have a higher electrical charge and I can just go. I'm so focused. I'm so determined. Not that I'm aggressive or anything like that. I'm like, very nice and everything else, but it really plugs me into life.
Mm. And is it the same with, like you say, you eat like some things that I would feel weird and kind of, I feel a bit gross to me instinctively, but maybe it's a
Yeah.
programming. I don't know. You're talking about like, I know, rats and frogs and things like this. Like,
Yeah.
why do you eat these things? Do you also feel in your body that gives you a lot of energy?
I mean, weird is just different, right? You go to a different country and they have like rings around their neck and they stretch their neck. Oh, that's weird. No, that's just cultural for them. So for them, the young girl who's like 8 years old is expecting to stretch her neck out like her mother and her grandma. So for them, it's normal. She's actually looking forward to it. But for us, it'd be weird. So the term weird is just unfamiliar. We don't, have familiarity with it, or we're not used to it. So weird is no big deal. And again, most people haven't eaten frogs, or I mean, you are from France and they do eat frogs there and snails, escargot and stuff like that. So it's not too weird from the culture, but cultures usually divide lines. Okay, cool. Cow, but not frogs. Okay, frogs, but not dogs. It's like maybe in Asia, there's parts where they eat dogs, but in France, they'll stop at frogs, but in America, they'll stop at cows and pigs and chickens. So everything is like a little bit of a cultural thing. So the reason that I have consumed a lot of these things, I've consumed seahorse, horseshoe crab, frogs, what else? Crocodile, all kinds of stuff, right? It's because every bit of energy that's expanded creates the thing itself. So whenever this energy is made, that energy actually goes in to create the thing that is the chicken, that is the crocodile, that is the snake, that is the plant. So it's not just animals and stuff like that, but also plants, fruits, nuts, berries, and all this other stuff, because it's that specific type of energy. Well, that specific energy has a specific energy signature that makes it that. You eat too many carrots, you turn orange. You eat too many blueberries, you have a hue of blue to your skin, which means that energy directly affects your body. When you eat these different types of energy, it unlocks certain things in your body, and your body becomes more adaptable, more susceptible to, and it gives you that specific type of energy influence, or at least trigger. I'm not going to say if you like eat a chicken, you'll start growing feathers. But when you eat the specific type of thing, it unlocks a different mechanism in you. So I'm going around the world collecting either energy from grounding, trees, plants, air, mushrooms, and stuff like that, but also animal blood and stuff like that as well. So just to unlock the fullness of me.
Yeah, thanks, Mikey. So then I'm curious, for someone like me, and I guess many people in my audience that wouldn't feel any attraction to eating these kind of things, um, can we get the results, or is it like part of the guide and the way to like have the great results that you have?
Beautiful question. Well, first off, thank you guys for being so gracious and so loving and so kind and so peaceful. Because at the end of the day, it's about the kindred spirits. About like, this is the person good? Are they a good person? Are they loving? Are they kind? Are they mean? Are they spiteful? Are they cynical? Are they demeaning? Are they putting people down? You never catch me putting anybody down. I might say like certain ideologies are dumb or stupid or stuff like that, but the people have a heart for the people, right? I'm always like uplifting and encouraging and loving everyone around me, non-judgmental. If people eat animals, okay, bro. If people eat just plants, okay, bro. But still love the person, right? That's what all this is about. Like, how can you ever testify to convert somebody into what you believe if you're starting off with hate, if you're starting off with skepticism, or division. But when you love people, then they open an ear, and people don't care about what you know until they know how much you care. So that's the best way to start. Now, the thing with the guide, can people get the same results as me without eating uh or drinking blood? That's a good one right there. The guide is like 80 to 90% everything else besides what you eat. So I have people who are vegetarian doing the guide, vegans doing the guide, probably some carnivore people. They're not too like open, like, hey, I'm a carnivore, do the guide. But like usually people who are vegans and vegetarians are the ones who are more open about it. There's how you use the restroom. There's what you eat with. There's how you sleep, what you think, the meditations, your environment. So like the guide is like 90% nothing to do with eating at all. So whenever you do eat, you could eat things from the guide, or you could eat things that you prefer, but that 90% of everything else is going to impact your life because everything affects everything. So you just doing this is going to affect you. You doing that is going to affect you. You doing the meditation is going to affect you. The self-love decree, the way you sleep. So all those things are going to impact you no matter what, whether you're eating animals or you're just eating plants or plant-based, or I don't know, maybe you're a pescatarian. Maybe you are a what's the people who paleo. It doesn't really matter at the end of the day, because the guide has about 1,000 different things to apply. You supply at your own rate, and when you apply something, that's going to have an effect. And that's why the guide, the subtitle is Everything Affects Everything, because you just start from one point and slowly make your way through.
Awesome. Yeah, and I understand it's much beyond the food. I just know the food angle is kind of an interesting one, and that's also one you talk a lot on your Instagram about not eating, and so I'm always happy to open with that topic. I'm also
Yeah.
curious because I was listening to the beginning of your podcast on a channel, something 369, I can't remember, but when you started, it was about so you talked about not eating, but then you say also sometimes you eat like kind of those weird stuff. So like what do you call not eating? Because if you eat a frog, for example, it's still eating to me.
Yeah. So whenever I eat, I would eat frog.
Okay. But now when you say it's been like 280 days or something that you haven't eaten,
Yeah.
that means you also haven't had frog or
Correct. Yeah.
this kind of stuff.
So I haven't eaten
Okay.
frog in 280 days. So when I eat
Okay.
all this wild stuff. And then when I don't eat, I haven't eaten anything. I've eaten rocks
Okay.
and dirt, like we talked about
Okay.
last time, but I haven't actually eaten
Yeah.
meat, steak,
Okay.
potatoes, vegetables, stuff like that.
Okay. Okay. And
And
no,
now,
no,
now it's been
also
almost
no,
290
no, like
days.
chicken heart or something. Like you haven't had any of that. Only the
So
dirt
there,
and
so there was around
stones
the
and all
day
this.
250, whenever we got the blood that I was sharing online and stuff like that. There was a piece of chicken heart that I shared with people that I ate, but it was like a tiny little slither of it, not to
Okay.
eat it to get nourished, but like just to try it. It was a black chicken. So there's a very rare black chicken that my neighbor has that he sells. So we got it. I'm like, well, let me try it. I'm here. But
Mm.
besides that, no.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
And then you said you like more like juices, milk also, coffee. You drink, right? These
Everything,
things.
man. Milk, coffee, juice, tea. Not really water. I haven't drinking water probably in about 5 months, 6 months maybe. Um, Kombucha, stuff like that. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And I think you told me in our text message that you don't really know. I mean, you said in the first episode you don't really know the calories. You don't count them, but you said maybe it's 2,000, maybe it's 3,000. So still decent amount of
I
calories,
don't
not
know.
something ridiculously low. Yeah.
Maybe we actually measure the calories. Maybe it's only 500 calories. Like I honestly do not
Yeah.
know. Like I
Okay.
because whenever you give your mind to specific energies, that there's where your energy goes out. And if
Okay.
I'm going to live and thrive and not just survive, but like actually expand in this life,
Mm,
I have to keep as much energy as possible. So I never even give thoughts, because that's your primary use of energy, is your cognitive functions. Digestion and cognitive function is the greatest depletion of energy. If you spend your mind thinking about things that don't reciprocate energy back to you, then no wonder why you're always hungry or atrophying or tiring or getting older or whatever. It's because like you're giving all this energy out. So those things that I deem unnecessary, I never even think about it. So it could be
mm,
2,000 or it could be 500.
okay. Do you what did you put in your mouth yesterday?
That sounds so dirty. Oh man, a lot of things. Let me go. We're gonna go
I
there.
mean, food and drink wise. I
I
mean,
think
drink
some
wise.
ginger juice, coffee, milk, tea, juice, like, cause I have a couple maids here and they juice for me and stuff like that. So they'll make apple juice and watermelon juice, which I actually recommend people not to have watermelon the first 6 to 8 months of the guide. Sometimes pear juice, stuff like that. And yeah, that's it.
Okay, and like
No dirt,
and
no
the
rock.
meal.
Oh, and blood. I think I had blood yesterday, actually. Yeah.
Nice. And cow's milk in general.
Cow's milk, buffalo milk, goat's milk,
Yeah.
human milk if I find any like top tier humans, but like I haven't had that in a long time, but that wasn't even part of the
Yeah.
guide. But usually places will have either buffalo milk or cow's milk, sometimes goat milk, but my body is so pure that the moment I consume something, I'll smell like it. So if I drink goat's milk, I will smell like a goat for like 2 weeks, and it's kind of like it's strong, so I don't drink too much goat milk anymore. Yeah.
Okay. And you said, but never human blood. Huh?
Human blood, I mean my own. Just if my nose is
Yeah.
bleeding, like I'll just put it back in. So yeah, it's not that big a deal.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
And
it's
menstrual blood, I would
interesting.
never say because that's actually like toxins coming out or waste products. So I would never say human blood. But a placenta, like if a mother gave birth, the placenta is edible. So the mother herself can eat her own placenta, the husband, and even feed it to the baby and stuff like that. So placenta is good stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I know friends who have done that.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just haven't gotten anybody pregnant or had their placenta. Plus, most people I don't trust because they don't even know what toxins are. A lot of
Mm.
people are so inebriated right now and blunted in their cognition that they cannot truly perceive reality, that they think they're doing one thing, but when you actually look at it, they're not even doing that. So a lot of people will come to me like, hey, Mikey, I know exactly what you're doing, and I don't even need to watch your videos because I know what you're doing. I say, okay, what do you think I'm doing? So they think I'm a vegan. For one, I'm not. I'm not a vegan or a carnivore. They think I astral project. They think everything I do is about meditation, and they think that it's about fitness and health and fasting. I'm like, dude, I don't do any of that stuff. So like, whenever people first perceive me, their mind has already filled in the gaps with their own assumptions that they're just assuming all these things, and I'm like, none of those things at all. I'm just a normal guy living and sharing energy. I believe in consciousness. That's my main thing. So if people cannot even comprehend the very clear things that I state, I usually would not even trust them to the degree of knowing if they have toxins in their environment or not. I'm like, if I'm telling you what I am, but you think I'm the opposite whenever I clearly state this, I don't even trust that you are conscientious of what's in your environment. Toxins, sprays, colognes, compounds, makeup, stuff like that, because it's going to absorb into the body. That's where they become infertile. That's where PCOS happens and dementia and Alzheimer's and stuff like that is because they have all these chemicals and toxins in their body that they absorb by default from their environment. The curtains, the blinds, the sheets, the bed, this is metal, so I'll hold this, but even holding your cell phone case leaches microplastics into your palms and your skin because you have pores and they're opening, they will seep their way into your bloodstream. So holding things that aren't, metal, if you hold plastic, it goes that deep. Even the uncoupling of electrons, not even understanding like your connection to everything breaks off or uncouples, that there is affecting all of your life. That's why a lot of people don't have energy, is because they don't even understand their own electrons and their own sources.
Yeah.
Which is why I wouldn't eat most people's placenta or drink their milk. But animals are a little bit more pure. They don't put as many things inside of animals as they do people. So I wouldn't trust the mother's milk as much as I would like a cow or a goat or something like that. Especially here where I'm at. I'm in like the rural area of Nepal, and they don't even have money for this stuff to like fertilizer or pesticides, stuff like that. It's just organic. It's just natural.
Mm. Yeah, I see. Yeah, I mean, it's like in between. Like I do feel like some animals, yeah, they live a more pure, natural lifestyle for sure than most humans. But at the
Most of
same
them.
time, yeah, I don't know. There's something I feel a little bit lower in the consciousness of like an animal like chicken, for example, that I don't feel its energy would benefit me intuitively. I don't
Totally. Yeah, that's cool. That's awesome. Yeah. But
know.
as far as like animals, stuff like that, they don't wash their hair. They don't put conditioner in their hair. They don't put toothpaste in their mouth. So like the milk of the animal would be better than the milk of the human, is what I was saying for that.
Hmm.
Because they'll put like makeup and foundation and wash their hair with conditioner and shampoo and stuff like that. So yeah. And that stuff
Hmm.
will always seep into your body. Like it'll stunt your brain and make you cognitively blunted. You put shampoo and conditioner on your head, you have pores here. It goes directly into your brain. No wonder why you have brain fog and you're tired and you can't think and stuff like that. Like it instantly is absorbed into your body.
Yeah.
Your mouth absorbs 90% of whatever you put in it. So if you put toothpaste in there, you've already absorbed it into your system. Animals don't brush their teeth or any of that stuff. So I mean, it's more pure like that.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. And like, do I get it right that a lot of the guide is coming back to nature and removing all these artificial things?
100%, man. Because like, here's the thing: everything man touches, man manipulates, and when man manipulates, it causes distortion. That distortion is expressed in your body when you consume it. That's why so many people are like disfigured. They're blobs. They're walking. No hate on people. I was there. I was that guy. You know, you guys see my before and after. I'm not. I'm saying it because I was the biggest person in it. I was the most insecure. I would put conditioner in my hair. I would actually put chemicals in my hair to straighten my hair. I have an afro. I didn't like an afro. It's very hard to upkeep. So I would put chemicals in my hair to straighten my hair. It would burn my skin. These relaxers and all this other stuff. So I was the king of using chemicals and all this other stuff. Whenever you put these compounds from men into your body, it disfigures you. You look weird. Like people don't look like they used to look 100 years ago. They were symmetrical. They had angles. They had geometry to them. Now people are like blobs and formless and kind of like their bones are weak. They have all these fractures and stuff like that. Is because they are consuming distortion. Like anything man touches, it automatically takes out the harmony of it. You look at nature, all of nature is a crystalline type of structure. It's very sturdy, diamonds, trees, even dirt, minerals, and all sorts of stuff. It has a very beautiful geometric pattern. When you consume that, you become beautiful geometrically. That's how I got the symmetry in my body and the way I look without working out. I haven't worked out in over 6 years, but yet my body is just like symmetrical. It looks right. Well, I'm looking better and better because I came from a very heavy life of toxins and stuff like that. But you know, my body's becoming more to a higher degree to where when I go out in public, it doesn't matter what country I'm in. I could be in the USA, I could be in Western countries, I can be in Asia or even South America. People stop and stare at me because there's a specific glow. And that's because I've only taken in the things that are harmonized from reality itself. But anytime you intake what man has touched, there's always distortion, fractures. It doesn't align well, and it expresses itself in the body. So that's why people are so misfigured. They can't have kids, they can't reproduce, is because there's no harmony inside. So everything about the guide is primarily coming into the harmonic state so that you can know yourself. That's it. Because if you have low energy, how can you put the conscious power into effect to even reflect in yourself? It takes so much conscious energy to do what I'm doing, to go so many, hundreds of days without eating, to have muscles without working out, without atrophying, to balance multiple lovers, multiple partners, travel around the world, do podcasts and answer these people here, answer everyone on my Discord, and still like stay up sometimes for 3 days straight. It takes so much because it's not about the body's power, it's about the mind. So the guide gets everything out of your life that's taking energy from you, the toxins, to bring in energy. So you have the power from vitamin A through minerals, zinc, and everything else I suggest, to then take that same energy and direct it towards your consciousness so you can know yourself. At the end of the day, the whole purpose of the guide is to know thyself. And to truly know yourself, it takes so much energy. They say that, to use AI, it's using all this water to cool it down and all these power of all these like megawatts and everything else to run AI. Your brain's more powerful than AI. This AI has not overpowered the human brain yet. So you got to think, to operate in true human potential at your fullest extent, think of how much energy you need to constantly run this. So like if you think and you are having a specific thought and you're going down the path, you'd probably get tired after 20 minutes, maybe an hour, 2 hours. How do you harness enough energy from reality to turn it on, and you haven't turned it off in 3-4 years and you're constantly going and you haven't depleted yourself? Like if you look at most scientists, right? I love people, mathematicians, physicists, they're all beautiful. I love all people. Vegans, carnivore, I have no qualms against anybody. I will never try to convince anybody out of their beliefs, their way of life. I love Muslims. I love Hindus. I love Christians. I love Catholics. I love everybody, right? I will never try to convince a Catholic not to be Catholic or a Muslim not to be a Muslim. Hey, I support your beliefs. But when you look at scientists and physicists and these professors, they have had the literal life stolen from their face and they look like a flat tire. Albert Einstein, great example. When you look at the man's face, it is it has just collapsed on itself because he has given so much energy out through his conscious expression, through thinking, that he hasn't restored himself or regenerated himself. And you can see the life taken out of him in real time. Well, how do you operate on the same capacity or the same depth of thought as a physicist or as Albert Einstein without having your vitality stolen from you? You can only do that if you operate in perfect harmony in the energy you consume and the toxins that are emitted and taking them out, to consciously know yourself so you can streamline your thoughts in such a manner, such a high degree to where you ascend and you get more energy from it versus it taking energy from you like the professor, like the teachers. And that's what the guide's about. Operating in the highest energy possible to fuel your consciousness so you can see reality and then have influence over it. That's how I became successful and everything else.
Yeah, thanks, Mikey. And
Yeah, yeah.
to keep going on, then going more towards nature and removing all these artificial parts, why do you think people from tribes don't necessarily look like you? Because a lot of them, they will not use toothpaste, they will not use shampoo. And for example, here I live in Bali, a lot of farmers or people who use much less artificial stuff, they don't have your bodies, they miss a teeth, like a tooth or two, you know? So why don't people in tribes living in nature have the same results?
Man, Alex, you have such great questions. That was awesome, man. That's a great question. That's very important. Like, dude, if they're in nature, why don't they shine and glow and everything else? Well, ultimately, there's like three things. The first one is this: I don't know what they're doing behind the scenes. They may smoke tobacco. I go out into tribes, and a lot of them are smoking. So, anytime you put vapor into your body, it solidifies and it hardens or it turns into a tar and it blocks your capillaries. The only way to power your brain is through oxygen. Your brain primarily runs off of oxygen and secondary glycogen. So if you're stunting your capillaries or your pulmonary glands and stuff like that, you can't properly absorb oxygen to your body. You can't regenerate. That's the first stunt, right? So I don't know what they're doing behind closed doors. I don't know their mind, and I don't know if they're smoking or anything like that. Second off, you the harmonic state is not something that passively happens. So even if you're in nature, it doesn't affirm that you're automatically going to slip into the harmonic state, because it's also a conscious engagement of. I am the most, besides Andrew Tate, right? I'm not saying I don't believe in hierarchy. I don't believe in alpha. I don't believe in beta. I don't believe in beta males. I don't believe in any of that stuff, right? But I can say that that guy, Andrew Tate, is a very triggering, polarizing person, right? Besides him, I'm probably, at least in the health or spiritual space or whatever, the most triggering person, or the most how would I say this? I'm the catalyst. I'm either going to make people be encouraged and live, or I'm going to make people offended. I'm not trying to do anything. I love it. I've never said I hate anybody. I love everybody, right? But when my presence comes on, people are polarized about me. Oh my God, I've had people say, Mikey's the best thing that's ever happened. He's a breath of fresh air. This guy's awesome. And I have people say, this guy's a charlatan. He's a snake salesman. He's this. But I'm like, I'm just showing up, bro. Like, I'm just here. Like, everyone has their opinion, right? So with that
Yeah,
being
just
said,
it on the first episode, that's a bit the three types I've had. Like most people are like, he's amazing, yeah, I love him and
most
stuff.
people, yeah,
And then there was people like the snake oil, the charlatan, and then there was also, because I have people in the vegan community also, people like, oh, he's promoting like eating blood, he's promoting like, the like kind of satanic things.
exactly, right. And
Yeah.
here's the funny thing: those people say that without ever researching or studying in my stuff. I've never promoted eating blood. I tell people, do not do this. I've never even tried to put it out there. They'll just take something and run with, because, and here's the second part why the tribesmen may not look at me, right? Look like me, is because of offense. If you're ever in anything but joy, even if you're just like, I'm somber, I'm cool, like, you're mildly moderate, you will still have your life taken from you. The only way to encapsulate this type of radiance on your skin and your countenance is to hold the highest expression of joy and let nothing take it. Whether they call me the next Messiah coming, oh my God, Mikey is amazing, or they said he's the greatest deceiver, he's Satan himself. I change for no one. I hold the highest expression of joy, and it takes so much energy to do that. And that's how I also have this life as well. So that's the first thing. So the first thing, second thing, I don't know what they're doing behind the scenes. They may be smoking or whatever. Second off, you have to constantly hold just the highest, most beautiful thoughts. I never get offended. I never get mad. It's all, hey, bro, it's all cool. Like, carnivores are like, carnivores are like, agree with us, Mikey. Yeah, eat meat. I'm like, no, that's dumb. I'm not going to say that they need to eat meat or drink blood. That's not what I'm saying. Vegans like, no, he's with us. Or fasting. Even fasting, right? The fasting community is like, yeah, Mikey, fast. I'm like, no, don't fast. Don't starve yourself. Like this is what it is. So no matter what side people try to pull me on, I just hold the highest expression of happiness and joy. That's the main thing. That's why I have energy. I have energy, and I drink juice or even blood or whatever, just so I can have the energy to choose to be happy in every second, no matter what's going on around me. So I don't think tribesmen are that conscious. I don't know. Maybe they are, but sometimes they're happy, but they usually have a pretty sad look on it. Every tribe I've gone to in South America, like Ecuador, Peru, where Bolivia, I've gone all around the world, right? The tribes people are happy, but they're usually like, there's usually like a stained look on their face. So maybe their internal thoughts aren't that. And then the third thing, with all this being stated, they still may not be eating vitamin A through mineral zinc. They still may be using toxins now, because even the modern day tribes, whenever we see them, they actually get what's the word I'm looking for? They get like grants from the government, and the government will feed them rice, and it will feed them, like they'll have Coca-Cola out there in the jungle and stuff like that. I'm like, how did this even get here? But I'm sure the big corporations sponsor the government to get their product out to these tribes people, so they assimilate, so then they'll eventually be customers. So even though they are called tribesmen, when you look, they still drink out of plastic. They still use plastic stuff. They still use like tin, cookware, like tin and stuff like that. Tin's extremely toxic. Aluminum's extremely toxic if you heat it up, which can cause brain defects. So I don't know, if you would have shown me that tribe maybe like 200 years ago, yeah, but the modern tribes today, they still drink Coca-Cola, they smoke cigarettes, they cook with aluminum and everything else. And then they probably don't hold these highest expressions of thought. And that's why they may not look like this. It takes a lot to be here. It's super easy. It's so easy, and it's so fun, and it's so like, yeah, but it doesn't just happen passively. Like, you got to truly engage. Like, I get the most love and the most hate on the internet, and I try like to let none of that affect me. I just try to engage in what feels the highest way. And to do that takes 24/7 engagement, and I can't let go. If I let go, I start to age. I notice that. If I start to get bitter, like the other people, or sour or offended, I will look a flat tire. But as long as I'm like, hey, show love, I love you, it's all good, no biggie, and I hold on to this, I keep getting regenerate. I keep getting life from it.
Mm. And as
Be
we're talking
happy.
about the tribes, I'm curious, has plant medicine been a big part of your evolutionary journey?
Oh my God. Another great question. For me personally, no. It seems as if that's just a substitute or a crutch or a band-aid for something that you're supposed to be able to experience right now in real time. You and I, we can breathe right now, and then we can trigger dimethyltryptamine type of experience right now with our breath. I can control
Well,
it. I
you
can just
you 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 kind of look and sound like you're tripping a bit sometimes, which is a compliment.
Bro, you look high AF, man. Nah, no
That's-
substances, nothing like that. I feel like that's lower in a sense. Like, yeah, they're cool for the person who doesn't know, right? So, like, if a person doesn't know how to trigger their mind into these effects, sure, man, some mushrooms, some ayahuasca. I've never done ayahuasca or whatever, so like, I don't know, man. Maybe it's crazy, but for me, what I've experienced so far is like, like your whole purpose of being here is to know who you are and to understand what you are. And when you understand what you are, I can get the muscles without working out because I understand me. I can get the effects of the trip without taking a substance because I understand me. I can actually grow in my height because I understand me. So everything I'm doing isn't because I'm great or that the guide is so awesome. It's because now I understand. Now I just triggered the motion. So if a person wants to do plant medicine, it's a one-off. Like, okay, you did it, but like then tomorrow, what? You go back to your job and live, like you had an experience, and then slowly it wears off. The people who need something, a one-time major event to trigger something, are usually the ones who don't last. Or they might get into the field, but they need another and another and another. And they're being sustained by the one-time event. When the one-time event's supposed to be the present moment now, why are you not triggering the dimethyltryptamine effect right now? Start taking ownership, start taking responsibility. Like, why isn't this the trip? If the trip of the ayahuasca or whatever, mushrooms, whatever they're doing nowadays, I've been out of the Western world for years, almost like, half a decade. So whatever trip or whatever that trip's supposed to be doing is supposed to be putting people in a higher consciousness. It's supposed to have left, right brain coherence and all this other stuff. Why aren't you just living in that anyway? Why aren't you finding the way to live in that right now in every single second and moment? If that's the higher way of your consciousness and that's your higher being or your higher self, then why wouldn't you learn how to merge your higher self with you right now? Why are you waiting for a trip this summer to go to South America to have a one-time thing and then you leave and now you're talking about the last trip, which was like 6 months ago? Why aren't you living in it right now? So that's how I do everything in like my body, my relationships. I'm a right now guy. And then from that, I've stayed in a constant trip. I don't know how deep you want to go like spiritually, but now I'm seeing a lot of interdimensional beings and shapes and figures and hearing things. And the back of my skull has grew. So I don't know if we showed the picture from last time, but there's a bump in the back of my head that started to cone my head out. And I'm starting receiving a lot of signals and I'm seeing it started as like bright lights, like when I closed my eyes. And now those bright lights are forming into actual patterns. And now it's developed to where those patterns have actually taken the shape of faces. And I just live constantly in this. I'm never out of it. And that's how I'm accessing all these, I guess, insights and abilities and stuff like that. Is just staying in the constant state of what people would call the trip, which means that the trip itself is just a band-aid or a crutch. Why aren't you getting in it without it? I don't
Yeah.
need their drugs.
Yeah, I think it's a powerful message in some ways. But yeah, I was curious if it was. I think if you can access it without the substance, for sure, that's
Of course. Yeah.
like, why not? Actually, you drink a lot of coffee though, right? Because I saw last time you were on a live, and I don't know if it was a joke, but it was like 4 double espressos or something like this.
Well, I mean, it was 4 espressos, yeah. So this year is probably like 3. So yeah, I'll drink some coffee. It's
Okay.
not a big deal. I know a lot of
Yeah.
people are against coffee, like caffeine and all this stuff, but it's all good. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I do want to share this. They talk about the pineal gland, right? The third eye, calcification from fluoride and all this other stuff. What do we think our brain is? Our brain it's a emitter and a receiver. It's a transmitter and it receives. So guess what? Whenever you have all these toxins in, it depletes and blunts your brain. It makes it dull so you can't see what's right in front of you. People, again, I think we talked about this last time. When I take this is why I take nothing to offense. Like, right? If people like, oh my God, he does this. I'm like, no, I don't. I never said that. But if people accuse me or say this, I remember this one thing. When I take a photo of myself in the mirror, my tattoo is on the right side of the camera, or like whatever side, like the left or the right. If someone takes a photo of me, they have a camera, they're taking a photo of me, my tattoo appears on the other side. And if I put that before and after up and people see my before and after, hey, this was me 8 years ago, this is me now. People will literally say, that's fake, bro. Your tattoo's on the wrong side. And I'm like, one's a reflection of a mirror and one's the direct image of me in the camera. And that's the majority. They won't say, oh yeah, you lost 60 pounds. Oh yeah, you have bigger muscles. They'll get stuck on your tattoo's on the wrong side. How did you do that? Like, how did you move the tattoo? Well, for one, even in photo editor, you can flip and reflect the photo. Two, it's from the mirror. So like people's minds now have been so inundated with the toxins that they don't know how reflection works. You're supposed to be a superpower consciousness to where you understand the fullness of the universe, but people are still in level 1 kindergarten stuff. This is like something you learn in kindergarten, reflection, patterns. They're stuck at that level because I believe that corporations or there's agendas or whatever, not trying to be a conspiracy or whatever, but the toxins from these substances, artificial processed foods, all this other stuff has blunted the truest receivers, the pineal, along with the hippocampus, along with everything in the brain, not just the pineal, but everything works together. My butthole is just as important as my pineal gland. They're both spiritual, right? Everything, my knees, my kneecaps, my toes, my wisdom teeth, my teeth, your teeth are connected to the rest of your body, your heart, your liver and everything else. It's all one big giant machine receiving and transmitting. So whenever we intake Coca-Cola, not even against Coca-Cola, anything processed, anything man-made, it blunts our ability to receive. And then now whenever you tell a person like, oh yeah, you're supposed to be seeing frequencies and geometric shapes and being able to tap into the ether just by one breath, oh, that's crazy. But all the shamans who made Inca and the Mayans who built these great fixtures and stones, and they had all these carvings and all these things. They were living in a constant trip, and that's how they were able to build all this stuff and do it all. That was normal. Over time, chemicals, petroleum, and everything has come in, and now the man has been reduced and blunted to a dull state. They're so dull, they have no energy. Because here's the thing, two things, and we can go on to whatever. Two things. First thing is this: when you have low energy or you're hungry, there's a certain effect that happens in people, and it's called hangry. Hangry, meaning if you're hungry, what happens? You don't get happier from being hungry. No one's like, oh yeah, hang, not hangry, but like happy or whatever they would say or put them together. You get irritated, you get mad, you get like low energy is always offended, annoyed, aggressive, angry. These things blunt us and they keep us in that lower state, lower energy, hangry, aggressive, angry, offended, bitter, spiteful, pessimistic. But when you have all this energy, you have so much energy that it's so easy to see. This is the second thing. On the other side, you have so much energy that you're able to see, and you can see the fault of the people. Like, it's not even their fault. I could be mad that people think my photos are fake because the tattoo's on the other side. But I can be like, oh, forgive them, Lord. They know not better. How could they know if they don't have the energy to comprehend a reflection? How could they know? So when you have higher states of energy, you have elation, orgasmic bliss, prosperity, affluence, love, euphoria, utopia. You have all these great things, and that's what's supposed to be coming out of us. So our state, our emotion, our offense, our pride, our arrogance, our joy, it's like a seal over here. Our elation, our love shows us what state we're in. So when they blast us with petroleum-based stuff or the blocking out the sun or whatever, we can clearly indicate what we're in by what we're emoting. Are we offended? Are we aggressive? Are we angry? Or is it happy to see you? I see you, Alex. You look so beautiful. You look so awesome. You look so amazing. And are you expressing joy? Do I feel better being on the phone with you than before I was on the phone with you? Or do I walk away feeling like my energy's been stolen? Oh, man. That's how we can tell. If you hear something and you have more energy after than before, continue that stuff. But if you hear somebody talking to you and you feel like low energy, they call them energy vampires, right? I don't believe in energy vampires, but whatever, do whatever you want. But if you walk away and you feel like, oh, guilt, shame, defeat, all this other stuff, that's a clear indicator what energy they're operating in or that we're operating in. There should be enough. I don't care if whatever happens in the world, they can be declaring the next war. They can be doing all this stuff. That does not affect me. No matter what, the greatest effect I will have in this reality is if I stay in the highest state possible. And my emotions, my feeling, and everything else is the indicator of that. So I believe all these petroleum-based stuff, it lowers the energy of the people. Not everyone's triggered. Everyone's mad. Everyone's offended in this day and age. But it's our job to stay like high vibrational, high energetic beings because it's this joy that comes with it. I couldn't see an angel coming down from heaven or like an alien or whatever and it being just pessimistic or like, eh. Usually they're so blissful and joyous, like, fear not, my child. It's always good. It's always love. It's always opulence. The people are afraid. The people are in fear. The people faint in the Bible. But the angels say, no, get up. It's all good. Don't be afraid.
Yeah, thanks, Mikey. I'm taking notes and I know it's your style. It's so cool that you're going in all these directions. But I love what you shared about what you shared about with psychedelics and plant medicine. I think it's good for people sometimes, I believe, to get that glimpse that there's so much more to life, but then being able to access this without needing a substance all the time. Like, I know for me, it was part of my story. It was like, oh, okay, all this, what I thought was reality was just a tiny box, and there's much more than that. And then I'm like, okay, I got the message, and now I don't want to rely on plants all the time. But that's one thing on this. And then when you went into let's say, feeling good, it's true overall. I'm wondering if sometimes it might be maybe sometimes it's necessary to feel like maybe someone makes me feel uncomfortable, but it's actually a mirror that reflects something I'm going to learn about myself. So in general, I tend to be in high vibe spaces where I'm like, okay, how do I feel after meeting that person? And that's most of my compass. But I feel maybe sometimes it's also, okay, that person makes me feel a little bit low right now, but actually it was really serving me because I needed to see that. So that's also one thing that came when you shared
It's
about this.
powerful what you said.
And then as we were on the coffee also, I was wondering if you have coffee every day or not. So sorry, that's a lot of questions, but that's
No,
what
it's all
came
good.
when you
It's all
shared.
good. I mean, I can go to the coffee one. Usually I have coffee every day, yeah. But I mean, on days that I travel, sometimes I don't have coffee. Coffee's not that big of a deal, but it's just another thing that's here that helps uh get the energy to continue expanding into greatness, you know, into elation. But so do the juices. And honestly, the blood makes, I know people are crazy about it. Hey, look, I'm not here to offend you. I'm sorry. We want to talk about blood again. I'll never even mention it. Okay. You don't want to talk about it. We'll keep that in the back door. Okay. But when I drink blood, I feel really good. So it's about trying to get as much energy from this realm as possible to continue feeling good. Because when I go outside, people like when I see a random stranger, they're not thinking, hey, did he drink blood? Did he drink coffee? They're saying, hey, what do I feel around this guy? I want to give everyone the best feeling. I want my Uber driver to feel loved. I want my doorman to feel loved. I want the people around me. If I'm going to government buildings to like get an extension on my visa, I want them to feel love when they're around me, and to hold that state takes a lot of energy because most people give up. Forget the world, screw the world. I'm going to ascend anyway. Forget them. Nah. Or they just want to teach and tell people, you need to do. Why are you not spiritual enough? It's like people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And the first bridge of that is how you make them feel. So that first response to a lot of people, I want to make sure they feel good, not just to lull them to sleep or comfort them, but to put out so much energy they feel like they can be real with me. Hey, Mikey, this is what happens. Perfect example. I had a family meeting in my Discord community. I have them like once a week and everything else. And I meet with all the members there, like on a live broadcast. And there was a new member there, and she came in. She's like, "Hey, Mikey, like I have a question," and she shared her question with me. And ultimately, she said that she's not consistent in her projects. She'll start a project and then stop after like 6 weeks. She says she's done this all of her life. She's like, Mikey, why can't I continue these projects that I start? What's wrong with me? Ultimately, she was saying. So I told her, like, why do you want to do the project? And she's like, well, I want to do this project because it's going to help me connect with people. And she's like, but I fear that people won't want to connect with me back. And I said, well, why do you want to connect with people? And then her response, this was the telltale sign. Her response was, but I feel like they won't connect with me. I was like, well, why do you want to connect with them? She's like, I just feel like they won't connect with me and I'll be rejected. So that was the thing right there. I said, no. I'm not asking, will they connect with you or not? I'm asking, why do you even want to connect with them in the first place? And then she broke it down. She's like, well, I feel like I have to even do this to be accepted in life. So I told her, look, this is your first day in the group. This is your first day here with all these people in my Discord community. We accept you, and you haven't even started a project. You haven't even done anything. We already accept you right now. So whether you do a project or not, by every single person right now on this live, you're accepted. And we went in a little bit deeper with her, and she started just crying. You'd hear her like sniffles through the camera and stuff like that because it broke down years of programming to think that she has to do a project that she doesn't even want to do. That's why she keeps stopping, because she doesn't want to do it in the first place. But she believed it. And that's why she kept doing it, but stopping, doing it, but stopping. But in that moment, she broke all of that paradigm saying, look, you're already accepted. You have to do nothing. And we already love you. We already accept you. And she started breaking down in tears. She felt the energy and the acceptance to be real and transparent, to tell me what's actually going on. And then from that, she grew, she ascended, and she expanded. So because I was able to stay in a good state, but if I would have been bitter, oh, project, oh, this, that, she would not feel safe. She wouldn't be in a safe space. She probably wouldn't open up, and she'd still be with her limiting belief. But because she felt safe in the group and that energy, she could open up and be herself, and then she can expose herself, and that little bit of exposure probably changed her life forever. This just happened yesterday, so we'll see. But that's the first time I've ever had somebody cry on the spot in the Discord community, but it was a very powerful moment. So all these things, coffee, blood, whatever I'm doing, it's all for I can get the most energy as efficiently as possible so I can put out good energy so everyone feels good around me. And I believe that that's how I can change the world better than trying to tell people what they need to do. That's why I don't tell people to fast. I don't tell people to drink blood. I will never tell them that. I don't tell people to just eat this or if you look at my videos, I never tell people to do anything. I've never told anybody to do anything. in any of my videos. You can watch all my videos. I share what I do. I share what the best way is. But the only thing I actually say is know yourself. Get as much energy as you can to know yourself. That's the only thing I actually direct people to do. And that cannot be demonized and that cannot be vilified. Because at the end of the day, the most loving thing you can do to the world is to know yourself. And when you love yourself, you can love others better. That's my entire message. So that's with the coffee. That's why I drink coffee. I know, yeah.
But you still do have the guide, and I'll put the link in the description. I know you give a discount also to people who
Yeah, totally, man. Help your channel,
want it
help
with Alex.
Yeah.
But in the guide, you definitely put recommendations. So I don't know if we count it as telling people what to do, but you at least give recommendations of things people can do to be in that harmonic state.
100%. Okay, cool. That's so the way you phrase that is perfect. Exactly. So you have influencers online who, when you scroll, right, the next reel that you scroll on or the next short, it says, hey, do these 3 things. Hey, the top 3 things you need to do. I never tell people what they need to do. And it's coming from that because I don't want to influence them. They have to make the choice themselves. If I have to convince them in the beginning, I'll have to convince them the rest of the way. I help people who want the help themselves, and that's the people who approach me. Now, when they approach me, I say, okay, this is how you do it. This is what to do. But I will never tell them, you need to do this. You need to stop eating meat. You need to stop eating vegetables. You need to only eat butter and eggs. You need to fast. I will never tell them what to do, but like, hey, the harmonic state is here, and this is how you get there. And that gives a whole life of freedom. Like the woman from the Discord yesterday, because she believed she had to do something to connect with people, she put this burden on herself that she's been living with for so many years, and she's felt like a failure because she always stops after so many weeks. But once I told her there's nothing you have to do, now she's operating from freedom. Now she feels so free and weightless, and all that stress is off of her shoulders. Now she can start being effective. When there's not a duty, and you're open, that's when the real effect happens because it makes the rest of life easier. It's just a smooth ride. So yeah, it's like that. I will show them how I got here, but I'll never tell them that they have to do this. I'll never tell them to denounce your God or be Christian or be Muslim or be this. I'll just point to like, hey, you like my muscles, you like my abs, you like my energy, you like my skin, you like my eyes, you like my teeth, you like my family, you like my house, all this stuff. This is how I did it. You want the same? This is the exact steps I did. And even in my own Discord community, when they come to me like, hey, Mikey, what should I do? I will even tell them, do whatever you want. Do you want to eat junk food and petroleum? You know, one of my jokes here, I don't know if you can put this on YouTube, but I tell them it's okay to smoke CRACK. I'm like, you want to smoke that? Smoke it. You want to eat junk food? Do whatever you want. Because if you try to suppress yourself or resist from the thing, now you're fighting yourself, and a house divided cannot stand. Don't fight yourself. You want to eat the junk food? Just eat it. But before you do, at least talk with yourself and commune with yourself. Why do I want to eat this? And whenever a person actually sups with themselves and talks to themselves, the desire to eat junk food isn't because of junk food. It's because of something inside of themselves that they're trying to get their attention with. When they actually talk with this thing here, they actually lose the desire to eat the junk food, and they have a greater result. And that's how I maneuver.
Yeah. Thanks. I've found that a lot with my own addictions and other people's. When sometimes you actually accept it and communicate with it, it kind of dissolves rather than trying to fight it. Yeah. Looking at your community, I'm curious about people's results. So basically, for someone like me, for someone watching also this episode right now, if they feel like, okay, yeah, he's getting really good results, what they might have in the back of their head is, can I do this? So obviously it needs to align a bit with the lifestyle. That's why I asked you, okay, can I do this plant-based? And then what's also answering, can I do this, is if they see other people having similar results. So I had a little look. I see other people in your community that have encouraging results. I haven't seen yet someone who has results that are coming anywhere close to yours. But is that, like, when do you think we'll be able to see people who follow the guide, who are in your community, have the results that are close to what you're getting?
Oh my God. Yeah. Then I mean, I have probably over 300 testimonies. People have gotten results similar to mine. I've had due to gain muscles. Then I wish I had a device. Maybe I could show you here, but we could pop it up for the people at home, and I can give you Yeah, I can give you the photo and you can post it here so they can see it as
Okay.
well. But I've had people who I had a dude, he was having trouble gaining weight and he's like 46 or 47 now. I think he's 47. His birthday was yesterday on the Discord call. He was in the community and he's been like 135 pounds all of his life. He like once he got out of high school, he could just never gain weight. He's tried protein powder and stacking and like all this different stuff, and it's never worked for him. From being in the Discord community and just here without working out, without going to the gym, without eating a bunch of protein or like having to stuff himself with supplements, he's already gained 11 pounds naturally. So he's went like 20 years of his life trying everything, never being able to gain weight. And then being in the community for a couple months, he's already stacked on 11 pounds. I'm not having him eat more. I'm not having him do anything but what I share with you guys, remove the toxins and everything else. There's another guy, same condition. He's still young. He's on the like younger side, like around 22 years old, 23 maybe. And he was just a small dude, couldn't gain weight. He's like, "Hey, Mikey, I look like a child. Like people still think I'm like a 14-year-old kid when I go out. I want to look more masculine and more manly." I said, "Okay, cool. Do these specific things in the guide." And in a few months, he's also put on roughly like 10 to 12 pounds of muscle. He's looking more masculine. He's grown in muscle mass and everything else. But I have this guy here. He's a Brazilian jiu-jitsu champion. He's undefeated for the past 3 years, and he has he holds like the gold title, whatever it is in their arena. And he's a student of mine. And I said, "Hey, look, man, I know you like working out and doing everything, but take the next 6 months off and just do what I'm telling you here." And these are his results. They're some of the most awesome results. Here's the dude who is the 22-year-old. I don't know if you can see him, but I'll do my best to show you guys. His name is Patrick, and this is him in a few months on the guy. He's gained over like 11 pounds, and he's gained muscle, not working out, not increasing protein or anything like that. Here is a 65-year-old man. He's lost like about 60 pounds on the guide. Same thing. I mean, I got testimony, girls, dudes, older ladies, post-menopausal. Like I have every result, reversing PCOS, diabetes. This guy here is 58 years old. This is him being on the guide for a few months. He's lost like over 30 pounds. He had his mental cognition back. He actually had Tourette's. He developed that as a child or technically born with it. And then within a few months of being on the guide, his Tourette's completely went away. He lived with Tourette's for over 50 years of his life. And then a few months on the guide completely restored his brain to optimal capacity. This is the
And
Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu champion who I told him, stop working out for 6 months. Just trust me and go on it. And this is his muscle development afterwards. Clear difference, clear differentiation from one to another. Gain muscle, greater vascularity, greater density, and everything else. So there are people who have the same results. It's like you just got to look for it, because if I post a testimony on my Instagram or any of my social medias, retention rate goes down. They don't care. Everybody wants to see me. So if I post me, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of views. I post like somebody else in their testimony, 5,000 views. So people just don't want that. But I have it on my highlights on Instagram. I have it on Facebook. But the testimonies are out there. There's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of testimonies. You just gotta like dig a little bit, but they're there, and they're just as great as mine. Hair regenerating, hair growing back. I had a tooth that regenerated on a person. They had broken teeth and cracks on their teeth. Their teeth regenerated. People's eye color had changed just like mine. They grew muscles. Their hair grew back. They've grown. They gotten bigger in weight. They had a woman who lost 70 pounds just from doing the stuff. So I have almost every testimony you can imagine: cyst, growth, psoriasis, diverticulitis, Crohn's, all that stuff, man.
yeah, and I know you have testimonials, right? But I was also wondering if there are people to a certain extent that also like get really amazing results, talk online about it, and become a leader of your own movement almost.
Okay, that's very beautiful. Here's something I really want you guys to know. I'm an average dude. I don't care to be an influencer. I'm not trying to make some sort of movement or do this or make some sort of business. I don't care. Get the guide if you want the guide, if you want the same life. If you don't want this life that's not appealing to you, it's all good. Like, continue living. I'm not trying to get this whole movement of CEOs and this and that and create waves and regional. I don't care. I'm just a happy guy living my happy life. I retired roughly like 7 years ago, and I'm just having fun just living. So yeah, there's people who have the same results as me, and they've even shared their testimony, and they're on my Instagram. But I'm not trying to train them to go out and do podcasts and we can sell more. I don't care. It's a cool life, and the power of this life is I can actually rest. I don't have to work. I don't have to be in the rat race. I don't have to try to make a name. I don't have to try to market or make a brand. What's what's the name of my brand? There is no brand. You know me, MikeyBreathes, but there's no brand, there's no name, there's no advertisement, there's no marketing. I'm just a guy living my normal life. It's not so normal to most people, but for me, it's normal. And people are interested, and I just talk with brothers. That's it. And I do share like a link. So like if you guys do get the guy through Alex's coach, stuff like that, yeah, it helps his channel and he gets a kickback. But there's no push, there's no rush to get the guy. You have to get in my community or you're gonna all that stuff is manipulation. And through manipulation is how you have your energy taken. If I was to create a whole force and a movement of people trying to live this way, I would have my life taken. But I have this youth and this vitality because that's not my intention or my goal. I just want to live normally. And if people like it, come be attracted, stick on. And if it's not for you, we're all cool. We'll still be brothers and sisters in this world, you know? So yeah, I do have people who have the same exact results as me, have the same energy, but I'm not training them to be speakers or anything like that because that's definitely not the goal.
Cool. Yeah, and you mentioned that guy doing jujitsu where you told him to kind of stop working out. So that's a curiosity of me also, because I actually enjoy working out. So do you feel workout is not necessary, or do you think actually people should stop?
Okay. I don't want to tell anybody what to do. You can do whatever. So guys, I have a lot of people coming in my DMs like, Mikey, I can't fast for that long. How can I do your guide? One, I've never told you to fast. Mikey, I can't eat animals. How do I do your guides? Well, there's like 999 other things to do besides eating meat, right? Mikey, I can't stop working out. It's my therapy. I need it. Okay, cool. You don't want to stop working out? You don't stop working out. There's still so many other things in the guide that have nothing to do with eating or even working out. Meditation, the sleeping, pooping, everything else, right? But if I was going to give my recommendation to the people, if they ask me what is the highest way, I don't care about some results. I don't care about losing 5 pounds, 10 pounds. I don't care about gaining some muscle mass. I don't care about having a little bit more energy. How do I become freaking divine? How do I have so much divine power in me, so much divinity radiating and like exuding from me that it's undeniable, right? That's what I focus on. What's the highest thing I can grab? How do I become Prometheus and go to Mount Olympus and get the fire? Like I'm just reaching for the highest thing. In reaching for the highest thing, I cannot occupy myself with going to a gym and working out. Why? Because, okay, gyms for one, horrible lighting burns your retinas. LED lights burn your retinas. If you burn your retinas, your body will spend energy trying to repair itself so you don't go blind because seeing is an essential part of reality. So your body will give energy to trying to repair your eyes, which means you won't have the energy inside of you to be conscientious. Two, they spray certain scents, air fresheners, disinfectants, all in the air. So when you go into a gym, you're just breathing all that crap in. Guess what? When you breathe it in, it gets in your lymphatic system, it gets in your heart, it gets in your liver. Now your body has to spend energy getting that crap out. So every day you're going and breathing in toxic air and then burning your eyes and coming out, going back, which takes your energy from you. You gotta have a lot of energy to hold this life together. The third thing is this: the moment you pick something up and then you put it back down, that energy stays right there. That's it. That's the extent of the effect of it. So when you pick a barbell up or a piece of iron and you set it down, your energy translated out of you into that thing, and that's all you got from it. Yeah, you might have a little bit bigger muscles or might have a little bit greater mobility or whatever. But the moment your energy goes into this inanimate thing, that's the end of it. And it cannot traverse beyond that. So when you become conscientious of what energy actually is in this realm, there's a feedback. In reality, when you put energy out, you can have it bounce off and be reciprocated back to you. So the energy you put out actually feeds you and gives you more energy. This is how like every interview you've ever seen me on, I'm never low energy. If it's a nighttime interview, if it's a daytime interview, if it's a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I always have so much freaking energy because I have become aware of what this actually is. So to live this type of energetic expression continuously, I have to ride the wave of the feedback of only putting out energy that's reciprocated. The gym does not do that. That's why all the gym bros look so tired. All the gym girls. Okay, yeah. They're 20, they're 23. Yeah, they won't look so tired. But look at the gym people who've been in it for 10, 20, 30 years. They are exhausted. And you can see it in the dark circles under their eyes, the bags, and everything else, because they're putting out energy without having it be reciprocated back to them. There are certain things in the guide that I recommend that you can do that are activities. You can still be physically mobile and stuff like that. I'm not saying just be sedentary, sleep all day, hide under a blanket. No, I'm actually saying the opposite. Go out and live. Go climb a tree. Go hike a mountain. Go have fun with your friends. Don't be exhausting in your activities to where you spend 3 days going on a trek up a mountain. Like, no, don't push yourself that hard. But like, go outside, kick a ball, jump a fence, have fun, play hopscotch, go do this other stuff. And then these things here, these little tiny actions keep you nimble enough to where you keep your body active in a sense to where it's not atrophying or like a tightening, but it's not exhausting you to the extent of depleting your energy from you. So there are a lot of things in there in the guide like that. But for the highest way, no, you can't work out. There's no way. It's so barbaric. Do you think Zeus or God or Jesus or Allah needs to pick up a weight? And if you're supposed to be divine like the angels and everything, you think they're in the, you know, heaven gym or gym heaven, just like lifting iron and stuff like that? No, they have the way they look because they embody it. They step into that position. They step into that mantle in a sense, and then the divinity flows through them, and that's what's being expressed. To go take supplements or work out is a counterfeit. It's artificial. They try to put weight on. So this is why usually a lot of people, when they stop working out or they get injured, they lose all their gains within like 6 months. I haven't worked out in 6 years. I've gotten bigger. But these people, they stop working out, they lose their results. That's because their body never wanted that artificial crap. They were manipulating themselves. So their body is like, thank God you got injured. Now I can finally breathe because I got all this weight off my chest because these people are so insecure. They need a big chest. They need to push it out. They need to be like, oh, I got the biggest muscles. But like their body is so quick to get rid of it because it doesn't want that crap because it was never in the plan. So that means there's a plan. Okay, what's the plan? Well, when you walk the plan, you find out that was never part of it. Now, can they work out if they want to? I don't care. I'm not their daddy. I'm not looking over their shoulder. You better not work. I don't care. Do whatever you want. But for this higher way that I mentioned here, there's a better way than working out.
And if I interview you, and for example, when you don't have coffee, do you still have the same energy, or do you feel it?
Next time we do that, I won't drink any coffee. I won't drink any coffee. Next interview, no coffee. No coffee the night before, the day, whatever. Yeah, for sure.
No, because I know people, they're like, I know people, they're like, oh, I haven't had my coffee, and all of a sudden they have no energy. So yeah, it's good. That's not you.
I mean, I don't know, man. Like, if I don't know anybody who drinks coffee and they're like this. I don't know anybody like this. Like, okay, it might give you like a little pep in your step. It wears off after 20 minutes. Sometimes I'm live for like 3-4 hours. I'm just going. Plus, I haven't eaten in 280 days. So I'm not being carried by coffee. There's a specific energy. Yeah, there's many imitations, but there's one source, right? Everything's trying to imitate life. Makeup is trying to make women look more alive and fruitful, but like reproductive, right? Whatever, fertile. Makeup, steroids are trying to make dudes look more able, like they have the ability to go hunt or get or whatever. Stimulants are trying to give people a false energy of what the divine energy is. So like there's many artificial versions. So it might be hard and muddy to tell what's happening, but everything that I speak on here, it's the life itself. It's undeniable. Yeah, there's people who seem hyper, but their face is dead. I'm hyper and my face is shining. Every day, look at our video from last time. Look at the video we did after that, or the one before that. It's always the same. It's not a variation. It's not like, okay, well, he's low energy today. And then it's always up because it's not the coffee. It's not this. Even though it's there, it's present. It's there. There really is a divine source to constantly flow from. And I'm not afraid to call myself out. Mikey, why don't you have energy? Are you not connected in? Why do you feel aggressive? Why do you feel so pessimistic? I call myself out. And because I call myself out, I instantly get out of that back into this. And I just stay in that divine energy all day. Coffee or not, it's cool. Coconut water or not, it's cool. Juice or not, it's cool. Milk or not, it's cool. Blood or not, it's cool. I've lived without blood for years because I couldn't find in other countries. I've gone without milk because they don't have it in specific countries like Laos and stuff like that. Not the real milk. I've gone without juice because some of these countries just don't have fruits like that, you know? So it's not the juice, it's not the blood, it's not this. It's about getting all the energy you can to connect. And when you have enough energy to connect with that, it's almost like turning a car over. Like as long as you have enough battery in your car to turn the engine over, the engine will power the battery, the alternator will power the battery. But if your battery's dead, it can't turn it over, and then you're dead. It's the same way. Like you can use these things to get the energy, but the moment you turn over, you have the energy, you connect onto divinity and you just hold on as long as you can. For me, I've been holding on for like 4 years. I've been hyper, and I'm a very low energy guy. Like if you saw me like when I was a kid, I was fat, I was overweight, I was low energy. I moved a little bit, but not too much. I was always tired, and I have I have pictures of me actually. I can get these to your audience so you can see them. But man, whenever you see these old pictures of me, bro, I was like dead. I was drained. So it's not like I was just been a hyper kid all my life. I was the opposite. I needed more energy. This is me back in 20, probably like 2018, 2020. You see like the stress and the dark circles under my eyes. I'll put a smile on, but man, I was so tired.
Mm.
This is me like 7, 8 years later. No circles, no darkness, no wrinkles, nothing like that. Why? Because I'm living from a different energy. I'm not biased in a specific field or a title. I don't care to be this diet or that diet. All I want is what is. And I'm willing to have no preference of my own to obtain what truly is. And whenever I live in that, it's undeniable. I can hold a title like, oh yeah, dude, I'm carnivore. Oh yeah, I only do this, or I'm fasting or whatever. I have no title, I have no name, I have no brand. I'm a no man. I don't even tell people to follow me. Like, do whatever you want. I don't care. Because at the end of the day, they can't look at this and deny it. They can convince themselves, but the dude not yaps, but he just goes on and on and on. He never stops. Coffee doesn't do that. There's no dilation of my eyes. There's no plant medicine here. Plant medicine doesn't even do this. Not every single day or whatever. So it's just like, what is it? I'm here to tell people, I'm here on earth as a messenger to tell people there is a higher way. And whenever you have no preference, no bias, oh, it must be like this, it must be like that, and you give up all those things, you can see what it actually is. And when you hold on to it, it's like jumper cables and bolts just going into your system constantly, and you just never stop. That's how I'm up sometimes for like 3 days straight, not because of coffee. I don't even drink coffee on the second, third day, but I have so much energy even after. It's that divinity. And if we believe in divinity, we believe in God or source, then why aren't we showing the same results? If your God or your divinity, I'm not challenging people, but I'm just saying, like, if your spirituality is so great, then why aren't you doing this? Not you, Alex, but I'm just saying, like, if your spirituality or your diet or your fasting or your whatever is so great, why aren't you doing this now? Every time a person says to me, like, but fasting's awesome, they'll tell me the story how they fasted last year. Then why did you start eating again? Why haven't you done it since then? Why has it been 6 months, a year, or whatever? Why did you just continue going? Because it's not sustainable, because it's not the way, because it's death, because it's birth out of insecurity. Because the truth is undeniable and it's everlasting. It should never stop. It's very beautiful.
Yeah. And by the way, as you mentioned, the steroids, some people were like, oh, I wonder if he's done a cycle of steroids. And I think you've been very clear that you've never done it in your life. I don't really think you have a steroid type of physique anyway, but just wanted to
I love you so
clear
much.
that,
Thank you
right?
for being like the devil's advocate kind of, but like, hey, bro, because please challenge me. If I can't hold myself up and all this other stuff, don't listen to what I'm saying. Like one rule in Gnosticism, I'm not saying I'm a Gnostic, but in Gnosticism is like, if you can't question it, then denounce it. If anybody doesn't allow themselves to be questioned, then don't listen to what they're saying. Please question me, poke holes. If you have something like, dude, like I'm here, no offense, because this is what it takes to establish. The harder we hit, the more our bones become established, the denser our bones become. Funny enough, in the guide, I have this thing called iron body where you do a specific practice to make your bones more dense. Hey, like, so as far as steroids, right? Um, I developed gynecomastia at the age of 9 years old because I had so many toxins, chemicals, and compounds in my life that it jacked up my hormones, and I grew breast at 9, 10, 11, 12, all the way until pretty much now, right? People cannot find a photo of me without gynecomastia. I have teenage photos of me with gynecomastia. I didn't do steroids back then. I don't do steroids now. I've never done steroids. That's the only thing that people hold on to is like, but the gynecomastia was the very thing that got me into this field. being so embarrassed and ashamed of I hated my chest. I was so embarrassed. I was so ashamed that even if ladies and, girls liked me, I wouldn't let them like me because I was embarrassed of myself. I hated myself so much. So that's actually what pushed me into all of this. Once I finally loved myself, actually, I'll have one here. I'll show you. I stopped having gynecomastia so much, my chest reduced. So this was my chest before. I don't know if you can see. So on this side here was my gynecomastia. This is my chest now. That's without surgery. The doctors told me I have to have surgery to get it removed. I did it without surgery. Yeah, my areolas are still big, but not even. It's not even that big, and I don't even care. It's like the moment I stopped caring about my insecurities, loved myself, the thing I was insecure about went away. The gynecomastia went down. And the women never even cared anyway. They love my chest. It's a turn on for a lot of them. So anyway, it's a whole thing in itself. But steroids, there is a manipulative, propagated air that's being pushed into society nowadays to manipulate the people to become transhuman. So they are injecting themselves with synthetic compounds and changing their DNA, but they're considering it as normal. Oh yeah, bro, just do a cycle. Some TRT, some peptides. That's literally changing your DNA. It's literally changing who you are. And you're paying these people for it. That's synthetic. Everything I tell you and I say is the opposite. Do what's natural. Dude, you can get testosterone just from yelling. If you yell, you'll raise your testosterone just from that. If you do like a manly shout and stuff like that. So there's no need to do anything synthetic. Don't do testosterone. You'll lose your ability to create your own testosterone. Then you'll always be in a weakened position. Everything about the guide is going to the highest form of power. If you can't produce your own, then you're the weakest. If you have to go to the gym, you're weaker than the guy who doesn't have to go to the gym. If you need energy drinks and shots to have energy, you're weaker than the guy who doesn't need those things and still has more energy. So it's about coming into the highest position of power. Testosterone, weak. Steroids, weak. When you take steroids, it inflates your nose and your lips. You have hypertrophy of the organs, your internal organs, and even your extremities outside. So your nose gets puffier and bigger. Your lips get really swollen. Your ears and your face. The face is very blunted. The pigmentation of people's skin gets jacked up because it's not natural and it's inflating the person. So those things there is literally killing the person from the inside. They usually have heart attacks, liver failure, kidney failure, stuff like that. Because it's not life, it's death, because it's manipulated by man. Man-made causes distortion, disharmony, and then those people die. It's no wonder the people who takes the man-made pharmaceutical stuff die. It's so obvious. Dude, you're injecting yourself with like serums because you're so insecure. A person hates themselves so much, they'll do whatever they can to change. They'll cut off their nose and make it point up, or like make their jaw shaven, or do some sort of rhinoplasty or injection lip surgery, take steroids, because it's just the result of hating themselves so much. I've come to the point where like everything I do, I love myself. If I poop, if I pee, if I sleep, if I eat, if I don't eat, if I do, I just love myself. And whenever you come to that point, you see how silly hormones, testosterone, steroids, peptides, it's so stupid. It's just another block to push you further from yourself, and it divides you from who you are because you're not that thing. So if you're trying to onboard this to become more, then you don't know you. And this is out of ignorance. I've personally never done steroids, and I don't plan on doing it. I have even gotten gynecomastia surgery. Like here's the thing is like, why would I do that but not get my chest fixed in their eyes? Why would I spend money on steroids if because that person who does that stuff, they're insecure all around. They wouldn't continue having big nipples but still do steroids. They wouldn't even be in the field where they did steroids but not cut off the nipples. It's a package. It's the insecurity. The person who has this would have to get surgery because that's the energy they're living in. So they would have already had surgery. The very fact I'm almost 40 years old. The very fact I have bigger areolas and haven't cut them out shows that the energy I operate in is not insecurity. The fact I'm doing this interview without a shirt on, showing myself, is showing that I'm not living in insecurity, that I'm in confidence, that I'm with my brother, I'm in a safe space. So when you don't live in that field of insecurity, you wouldn't want to get plastic surgery because you love yourself for who you are. You won't want to do steroids because you love yourself for who you are. You wouldn't even do peptides or some sort of supplement because you love yourself just as you are. And when you love yourself just as you are inflated and you grow from that love energy. And that's where the results come from for everybody.
Thank you, Mikey.
I mean, I can
How
talk,
do
bro.
you, yeah, how do you get to love yourself so much?
You are blowing my mind, dude. These questions, I love these are the best questions. We can argue and all this other stuff, but like you said, one of the most purest things, how can people love themselves? That's all that matters at the end of the day. It's not about this or that or black or white, Republican, Democrat, Western, not. How do people love more? How do you love yourself? How do you love other people? The best way to love yourself is to know yourself. You cannot love something that you don't know. If I don't know these people, I would be prejudiced against them. Oh, those people over there, right? Like, oh, they're this, right? Some people may be offended at the Pakistani people, that they may be afraid to go to Pakistan because they've heard stories. I lived in Pakistan for some months. Some of the nicest people I've ever met in the entire world, the most helpful, the most giving, the most gracious. They gave me so many gifts. I arrived in their country and they just gave me stuff for free. If I needed a taxi ride, they would just say, hey, you're a guest in my country. It's for free. They wouldn't even charge me. They would let me in places for free. They would give me gifts. But if I didn't know those people, I might be fearful and prejudiced. And then I would hate them. So in the same way, I might be fearful and prejudiced against myself because I don't know myself. So the best way to love yourself is to know yourself. When you have a lover or a partner, a girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever, you want to know all you can about them. What's your favorite color? Where are you from? How's your family? And this and that. You want to know everything about them because that's the love. The love is the curiosity. So in the same way, we have to become curious with ourselves. Why do I do this? Not in a judgmental way. Oh, why do I always do this? Oh, no. But man, why do I do that? Why do this situation, when it comes up and when it arises, why do I always act like that? Why is this always this? And love yourself through the process. So when you spend time with yourself, clear out some time every single day and question yourself, not interrogating, but just being with and just asking like you're on a date. Hey, what's up, man? What's up, Mikey? How you doing, man? Why are you so insecure about your chest? Or why about blah, 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 blah? And you talk to yourself actually talks back. And then when you're not trying to force the conversation or tell yourself what to do with discipline or willpower, Mikey, you need to work out. You need to do, you got it. And you just listen to yourself. Hey, Mikey, what's up? Oh, it's actually this. You feel safe with yourself. And then you hear the answer. And then that answer shows you the best life possible. Now, a method in the guide that I have to do this is self-love decrees. So in the guide, it instructs you on going to the mirror and doing a very specific practice with looking yourself in the eyes, in the pupil, and you do this very specific sequence. And whenever you do that, it triggers a state inside of you and it makes you feel safe. And whenever you feel safe, all this crap comes up that you haven't been listening to yourself. And then you sit down and go for the ride. Like, all right, I'll love you better. Okay. I hear you loud and clear. Okay. This and that. And then whenever you get all this crap out of you that has been there for 10 years, 20 years, probably even more, you lose weight. Like the people who are overweight lose weight. The people who are underweight gain weight. And then all of a sudden you have more energy because you're not carrying this baggage in you. It's not even like trauma or something like that. It's just finally listening to yourself. And whenever you come to that position, that's where the results start to happen. Without working out, without calorie counting, without a diet or an exercise plan, it's literally the energy you're holding inside of you. And that's when you start living off that energy. And that's what produces the results. It's this body was made in self-love. The moment I stopped hating myself was the moment I started looking more divine. It's the day and night difference.
Thank you, Mikey. Yeah. I mean, I absolutely believe in that. And it's beautiful that you're teaching that. And yeah, I'm excited to try it soon. Remember, we have a little agreement once people buy, a few people more buy the guide that you like
Oh man,
gift
dude,
me one
people are
as
gonna
part
love the
of it.
guide.
So then I'll start doing the guide, and I'm looking forward to it. Yeah.
100%. And guys, like listen to me. It's not about it's not about a diet. It's not about a preference. It's not about can I do this, can I do that? It's just about like, hey, there is a higher way that's undeniable and it's there for everybody. And
Yeah.
whatever part I tell people, do the guide at your own pace. It's not a program. It's not a 6-week program or you have to eat meat. I never recommend for anybody on the internet to drink blood. These are just like, I'm very open about my life. I expose myself. I don't wear clothes. Like I'm not hiding a knife behind my back. So I am very open, transparent. I tell people about my lovers and my life and I'm the most open guy because that's how you actually grow in this life is exposing yourself. exposing yourself to the sun, exposing yourself to the weather, exposing yourself to yourself. That's how you actually move forward in life. The people who cover up the most, no hate against them, but the politicians or government officials or organizations or suits, business suits, they put the tie all the way up to the neck, have the most skeletons in the closet because they're holding on, they're repressed. It makes them bloat up and gain and swell. And then they have all these things that build up, and then eventually they'll be triggered, and then you'll find them doing some sort of drug or doing some crazy thing with whatever in life, right? I mean, politicians have been exposed for some crazy stuff. That's all I'm saying. But when you expose yourself way ahead of time, way before that, you bypass all that crap and you live in harmony in yourself. So that's what it is. So it's truly just living in harmony. So the steps to do that, I mentioned them in the guide. Guess what? If you don't eat meat, it's fine. There are 999 other things to do besides eating. If you don't want to stop working out, that's fine. There are 999 other things to do besides going to the gym. You can still go to the gym. It's fine. That totally bring your life into harmonic balance, and you will notice the results instantaneously, the same day sometimes, usually within 3 days. So whenever you guys get the guide, don't feel like, okay, well, I got it. No, it usually takes people sometimes 1.5 to 2 years. Okay, hear me out. This is not a program. When you do the guide, to complete the guide, it usually takes you roughly on average around 1.5 years to do everything in it. That's how extensive this is. That's why it's not a little pamphlet, a little book, a little like, okay, well, here, I'm going to do my little pamphlet for like my 6 weeks. It's so dense, so heavy, it's so intense. It's easy, but to fulfill everything in there would take you roughly 1.5 years to do. You're not going to do it in a day. You're not going to do it in a month. You're not going to do it in probably even a year, because as you develop and you grow in the guide, and then you go back and read the first part, now new things are going to be unlocked in the first part because you didn't comprehend them because there was something in your environment blocking you. But when you go to the next level, now you see the first part of the guide in a different way. Now you got to reapply that. So it's this ever growing procession of expansion that when you read the first part, it's new again. So it takes roughly 1 year to maybe even 2 years to complete and do. I've been in it for 5 years. So these are my results after 5 years in the guide. Over 1,970 days. Never stop because it's so fun. I have so much energy. If you see me back in the day to now, I'm a completely different person, man. My skin's bright. I'm happier. I'm glowing. It's just like, oh, I'm not so pessimistic or like, or forceful. Live and let live, man. And I've seen so much more success and wealth from it. And that's why all I'm sharing with the world is the energy. It's so easy to do. You'll love it.
Yeah, thank you, and yeah, as I said, I'll put a link in the description, and I'm happy to hear that. Yeah, there's some flexibility to it, and yeah, of course, then we see what happens, right? Maybe 6 months in the guide, I'll be like, oh, I don't vibe with working out at the gym anymore, and something else vibes, and I'm open to
So
that for sure. Yeah,
Totally. And no pressure. Like I've had people
yeah,
in my community for over 1 year, and some of them still eat junk food here and there, because the whole point of the guide is not to give you disciplined rules to abide by. The whole point of the guide is to put you in a scenario, in a situation to where you expose yourself to yourself. Now you're conscientious of, you eat junk food. Okay, why? If I know this weighs higher and Mikey has gotten the results and this person and all thousands of people have gotten all these results, why would I not want it? That's the guide. The guide is about exposing yourself to yourself. But to even contemplate it or even interpret it correctly, you need a lot of energy. So the guide helps you get the energy so you can put yourself in a position to expose yourself so we can comprehend it, so you can grow and adapt that, and then you expand as a person.
Mm.
That's
Do
what
you
the guide
feel
actually is.
do you feel sometimes some things like fasting can be actually the self-loving thing to do? Because, for example, there's stories of people like they have a certain disease and they feel like fasting for 28 days is going to heal them, and sometimes it actually does work. um so yeah, in that case, would fasting, even if it's going to be like maybe putting it in the context of just sometimes doing something that can be challenging and uncomfortable, actually feels better. So in that case, can be also the self-loving thing to do, right?
Totally, man. Totally, for sure. Like, yeah. So if I got like cancer in my arm, I could just chop my arm off. I don't need my arm. Screw my arm. I just chop my arm off. And that's the same way. Like, yeah, dude, like if you do extreme things, there's an effect to it. Because I chopped my arm off, the
Mm,
cancer's no longer going to the rest of my body. Or I could have found out why did I get cancer? Where is this from? Where's the source of it? And then like listen, because the only reason a person has a disease, primarily for two reasons. One, they didn't listen. Two, that's the extent of what needs to happen for them even to open their eyes and say, hey, I'm going the wrong way. So the disease is actually a benefit. So if they had some sort of disease, they're doing some sort of hard thing against themselves, like fasting, saying, I'm going to starve myself to get rid of the disease, but the disease was trying to show them something else. Every single time. That's how the person got rid of Tourette's. Again, PCOS, diabetes. We have a laundry list of illnesses and sicknesses of people who've reverted without ever having to fast, starve themselves, do some sort of medical treatment, some sort of whatever. And all these people have never gone back into or remission or anything else. Once it's gone, it was gone. Because the whole purpose of anything that you're experiencing in life is just to get your attention. The moment you finally pay attention, you fulfill it, move on to the next thing. That's all it is. So is fasting effective? Yeah, of course. If I just drink water, it's effective. If I just eat veggies, it's effective. If I just take supplements, there's an effect to everything. That's why the subtitle of the guide is Everything Affects Everything, because no matter what you do, there's going to be some sort of effect. There's nothing that can happen in reality that will not have an effect. Every cause has an effect. Every reaction has first an action. So whenever you do something, yes, something's going to happen. But there's a higher way. You don't have to fast. You don't have to starve yourself. You don't have to do this. There's a more harmonic way, less stressful, less forceful on you, that gives the same results, if not better, with being caring and loving towards yourself. Now, here's the thing about fasting, and a lot of people get this mixed up. But Mikey, aren't you fasting? You haven't eaten in 200 and however many days, 280, 290, somewhere in there. I don't even count. I don't care. It's not even about not eating. So people ask, isn't that considered fasting? No, it's not, because fasting is a required time of not eating, which means I am not going to eat, which takes discipline, willpower, and force. Meaning if I get hungry, I'm not eating. If I feel depleted and I'm like low energy, no, I'm fasting. I can't. Because it's forced. That's what fasting is. Me, I am just not hungry yet. I have all this energy. I'm not hungry. So I haven't eaten yet. People are like, Mike, why did you stop eating? I didn't stop eating. Everyone thinks I stopped eating. I'm like, no, I haven't stopped eating. I'm just not hungry yet. And there's a huge difference between that because one, they're forcing their body, they're manipulating their body, they're controlling their body, they're spanking their body, they're whipping their body. 3 more days, just water. You better not give up. Go hard. And these people are forcing themselves. Will it do something? Yeah, your body will freaking eat itself. Okay. And it'll eat the cancer and all this other stuff. But there's a harmonious way to where, guess what? If my body's hungry or sending me signals, it's divine and intelligent. It probably knows a thing or two about staying alive. My body can only continue to exist if I exist. So it wants to stay alive as much as I do, if not more. It's beating my heart for me automatically. My lungs is breathing for me. So my body probably wants to keep me alive more than even I want to be alive. So when we listen to the divinity of our body and our body says, hey, I'm hungry, eat, we should probably listen to it. But most people have confused hunger with simply just eating mass calories. This is why calories are stupid. This is why calories are so backwards, because we have considered, okay, if I feel hunger, it means I need substance in my stomach. That's not what hunger is. Hunger is an indicator of a specific vitamin or mineral, not a supplement vitamin, but like literal vitamins from the earth, plants and mushrooms and everything else, right? So vitamin A, vitamin B complex, vitamin C, vitamin D1, D2, D3, vitamin K complex. So every time we're hungry, our body's actually calling for a specific vitamin or mineral. Guess what? When you eat all of them, you stop being hungry. You're just not hungry anymore. So if you eat something and then an hour later you're hungry again, it means you did not get all of your vitamins and minerals, which will continue the hunger cycle. But most people, instead of thinking, oh, I didn't get all my vitamins and minerals, they'll think, okay, the food passed through, I just need to eat more mass. And they'll eat the same thing they ate in their first meal or the same thing they ate yesterday. So they keep eating vitamin A, B, and C, but they miss K, E, selenium, magnesium, choline, and all this other stuff. So they keep getting hungry. So they think like, I can't trust my body because I'm always hungry. No, your body's always hungry because you don't know what to feed it. Because the moment you feed it vitamin A through mineral zinc, you stop being hungry. Happens for me, happens for everybody here. So that's why I tell people it's the opposite. Don't fast, actually eat more. And when you eat more, you eat what you're supposed to, that's when you stop getting hungry. And when you eat them all, guess what? You heal or regenerate automatically, because that's why your body even had the signal for hunger. People are simply not living the blueprint that's been laid out for them since the beginning of time. And they're trying all these quick fixes and maneuvers. I'm going to starve myself. I'm going to fast. I'm going to water fast. I'm only going to do a juice cleanse. I'm going to detox and all this stuff just to compensate for the divine life they're supposed to live every single moment. They'll do plant medicine, which is nothing wrong against it, just to have the spiritual experience that they were always supposed to live in every second of every day. I'm on no substances. All I drank today was some coffee. But even before the coffee, I was already like this. I'm hot. I'm plugged in. I'm seeing everything. Like, it's all just, that's why I'm speaking so fast, because there's so much insight and revelation coming to me that I'm trying to throw it back up. I'm in it, right? But this is something you're supposed to be in without taking the plant medicine. You can take it to experience it, but you're supposed to stay in it once you're in it. The same thing with the food. Like, once you eat all the food and everything else, you're healed, you're regenerated. You're supposed to stay in that state. You're supposed to stay in the state. You're supposed to get in the state. There's a blueprint for you to operate and access and live in a specific state. And whenever you live in that state, how could you ever be sick in the first place? If you're not sick, why would you need to fast? Fasting is just a compensation because the person's ignorant. You better starve yourself. You better not eat. You better do a 37-hour starvation period. Why? Unless you're trying to force your way into heaven. When I go into heaven, I don't need to try to break the lock. I'm invited in. When I live in it, why would I need to fast or take some sort of hard regimen to try to jack my body or biohack? It's literally saying I don't even know what I'm doing. Because when you just naturally live in it, that stuff becomes irrelevant. And that's the same thing with fasting. Yes, there's a result to fasting, but it's a lower way, because you're going to have the same thing without ever having to do that stuff, because there's a higher way. And that's what I'm sharing with you guys. Yeah, you can fast, but there's a higher way. And I'm never hungry. And everybody in my Discord too, all the hundreds of people, who've gone through the Discord and everything else and gotten the guide, the first thing that happens to them is they stop being hungry. I still have them eat every single day. I've never had a person stop eating. Everyone is still eating, and they still lose weight. And the number one thing that happened to everybody is they stop getting hungry. So some of them have been hungry in over a year. Could you imagine never being hungry for a year? Like, fasting, like, oh, I felt great with fasting, but you still know the hunger pain I'm talking about. Like, it's there. We check off every box on the list, and people, because they did vitamin A through mineral zinc, they stop being hungry. And they haven't experienced hunger in literally a year or more. I've experienced hunger in probably like 4 years. Can you understand 4 years without having the feeling of hunger, what that life would look like? It's completely an entirely different life. It's heavenly.
Yeah, and I feel on top of the physical components you talk about, this, you probably agree, it's hunger is often emotional and mental too, right? So if people are in a higher state, they have fun in their life and they feel love and all these, they less resort to eating all the time to kind of fill that void in a way. Would you agree with that too?
You're 100% right. Alex, what you're saying is genius, because like what you said, the mental cognition is the greatest use of energy in our body. So when you have all these apps or these worries or these doubts or fears in the back of your head, they're just drawing energy from you. And when you're unaware of these things, it takes energy. And guess what? You have to replenish that energy that people need to eat. But when you take care of all that doubt, all that fear, all that pessimism, or that negativity, all that other stuff, and you clear it out, like, I'm just happy, you have so much free space. You're not even using that energy anymore. You get to keep it, and you stop being hungry. The happier you are, the more joyful you are, and you take care of that, subconscious stuff, you just stop wasting energy. And guess what? Now when you eat something, it lasts. You don't eat something just to power all these apps in the background and just feed them. You kick those things out because now you know yourself. So when you eat that one thing you ate, like for me, my last meal was July 25th, 2025. I'm still living off that meal. Yeah, I still drink here and there and stuff like that, but I'm talking about the meal. I haven't eaten a meal because that last meal fulfilled me, because I've become so open in my body, non-judgmental, so loving, so clear, so transparent, that the last time I ate, I'm still living off of that because there's nothing else running in the back. What you
What
see
did
is
you
what you
have?
get. Huh?
What did you have?
I had, what a great question. Oh my God. Okay. So to eat vitamin A through mineral zinc, you actually have to eat quite a bit. That's why we have like columns in the guide. And like, okay, here's all the best sources of vitamin A, all the best sources of vitamin B complex. And like, there's vegetarian options. There's vegetables. I'm not saying just eat meat. It's not the main thing. But whenever you do, you pick one food from each column. Some foods coincide with multiple columns, like eggs have vitamin E, vitamin D, choline, some like amino acid stuff like that. So you can eat eggs, and that checks off multiple columns. So for me personally, because I travel the world, I get all this exotic stuff. I eat about 160 different things, ranging from like cardamom and like laurel leaf, and even I eat like horseshoe crab. Like people are like, what's a horseshoe crab? Look it up. It's like a dinosaur. It's crazy. Um, I eat mushrooms. I eat like 12, about anywhere from 10 to 12 different types of mushrooms, seaweed. I eat 160 different things. So I just pace myself. It takes me about 7 hours, but because I eat the specific way of the guide, I never get bloated. I never get tired. See, here's another thing too. Usually when people eat, they also are accompanied with tiredness. When you eat like the guide, you actually get energized. You get energized from it. The way we eat, the way I tell you to eat with the saliva and everything else, people actually become more energized after they eat versus tired, like they would at Thanksgiving or something like that. So they would hear, oh, 7 hours to eat? That's too long. Well, that's because I'm going, back then I was going and eating once every 80 days. So I had to really make sure I get this in because I'm going on a journey, right? So I would have to eat all these things, but people who eat the guide, it may take them like an hour and a half to eat everything. So it's not even that big of a day. Like you actually spend less time eating because 24-hour day, you only eat once usually, sometimes twice or three. You can eat as much as you want, but usually people choose to eat once, one meal a day. It takes them like an hour and a half to eat, and then you have the rest of your day to go live, and you have a bunch of energy after. So for me personally, I ate more because I go so long without eating, and everything else. I was planning it, so I eat 160 different items, ranging from in the ocean, under the ocean, on the land, under the land, in the air, from the mountains, everything. So I'd eat. Also, I continue eating dirt and tree bark and everything else as well, cinnamon bark, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, actually, why do you eat rocks and dirt and bark?
Sometimes you need binding agents inside of you to collect all things. So if you have, because a lot of people, this is where people get messed up. They'll eat cakes and candies, even if they're like healthy options, right? Healthy cookies, vegan cookies, or like keto cookies, or whatever, right? When you amalgamate these things, you combine different molecules together that are not supposed to be bound. So you'll bind fat molecules to carbohydrates, sugar molecules, and stuff like that, and that causes indigestion in people's bodies. So whenever you eat them the specific way, people get bloated. They start burping up. They start farting because their body's trying to digest fat and a carb simultaneously, which it should never do that. That's why people have regurgitation, because your body's trying to tell you, yo, you shouldn't mix this. Oils and
But
plants. Go ahead.
but you have that in nature too, right? For example, here, if I eat durian, it's like fats with sweets, and nature makes, for example, fruits that will have some carbs and a bit of fat together.
Exactly. So that's what I'm saying. So when man makes it a cookie, you can't find that keto cookie in nature, man. But people will burp that up. But if you eat this type of fruit that already has it in there, it's put in such a way to where your body can digest it. But if you immediately follow that fruit with some nuts, you start burping up chunks of nuts because you weren't supposed to mix that type of fat with this type of carb. But the carb that already has it in there, that's okay to eat. But people will make cookies and cakes, breads, and all this other stuff, call it keto, call it vegan, and they'll still be crapping or burping or whatever else because it was fused together, uh, not naturally occurring. So either way, whenever you get to the guide, it says, hey, look, eat all this at this time, eat all that at this time, eat all this at this time. Well, there are certain things to mix. And whenever you do mix these things together, you can digest it at a rate to where you can absorb everything. So sometimes I'll actually eat the rocks to create a binder element so I can bind stuff together so I can absorb it better. So I'll eat the rocks and clay and stuff like that, bark. So yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, Mikey, I'm curious also to talk a little bit about the ethics of it, because a lot of people who are into being vegan,
Yeah.
they need for the ethics, right? And of
Yeah. Yeah.
course, there's obviously a huge difference between eating at McDonald's from factory farming cows and the way, let's say, maybe indigenous tribe would eat meat. Like to me, it's not like all black and white, but let's say, yeah, in our modern society, to me, I started eating plant-based because I was like, okay, there's definitely something wrong with how we treat animals, and also because energetically, I mean, I understand the physical point of having this mineral, this vitamin. But to me, this physical world ultimately is God's dream, in God's mind, and anything is possible. And so the timeline I feel like manifesting, that I would call my the newest, that would be my preferred timeline, is, let's say, to go to a paradigm that's maybe less predatorial and that's more symbiotic. And so the idea of eating flesh or blood, things from dead animal, to me doesn't resonate as well as, let's say, eating a fruit that anyway is going to drop from the tree and feels more like an offering and a symbiosis. Or even if we push it further, like maybe not eating at all and just using the air. But so, yeah, I'm curious, what's your view on the preferred timeline that we manifest through what we eat?
Well, I have to say this, Alex, I love you so much. Thank you for coming so compassionately with your question. I appreciate you not being judgmental and just hearing me out as a person. Give me a moment to speak. I respect and honor that so much. Your light shines just because you're courteous in your approach versus being. I've heard some people be so harsh, but like you are the exact opposite, and I love and I appreciate you, man. So with that being stated, I 100% honor and revere like your way of wanting to bring in a new earth and not eating flesh. I'm with it. Like if we can go there and do that, I'm cool. Like if I can just live off, because a lot of people think I'm a breatharian because my name is MikeyBreathes, but I have breathes because it's something that we can all connect and do. Like my name is MikeyBreathes because my other page, Mikey Fergie, actually got banned because for whatever reason, man, that was the Wild West days of, social media when TikTok was coming out. So like Instagram was really like harsh on stuff. So, but now it's like leaned up or like, more lenient and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm not a breatharian. I'm actually the opposite. I believe that we should consume everything of the world. So I'm actually the opposite of the breatharian. I think that we should eat every single thing. I should be able to eventually on my side, I think there should come a day and a point where I can eat radioactive material and then garner the benefits from that. I don't think I'm there yet. I'm not going to eat uranium or plutonium, but I do believe if I'm growing in my ability, eventually one day in the future, I should be able to eat radium, plutonium, and stuff like that. So going back to the ethical part about it. Are you religious at all? Or do you subscribe to a doctrine? Are you new age or like what's the vibe on that for yourself? Do you,
Yeah, I don't know if you'd call it new age or whatever. Like I'm spiritual. I enjoy, yoga and Hindu and Buddhist traditions, and see the wisdom in all religion. And also, to me, the unnecessary dogmatic part of it. So I prefer to have my own direct connection with God slash the universe, which is also
uh-huh.
my higher self.
Yeah, that's beautiful. So I actually had somebody ask me something similar the other day. It's like, hey man, why did you start doing this? Did you read a scientific study? And that's why you're doing what you're doing. Like, hey, did a scientific study tell you to start drinking blood or this or that? It's like, no, I just do what I feel to do, and this is what I feel to do. So I'm not looking to man to tell me what to do. And whenever it comes to the point of ethics, it's so blurry and so muddy in so many things. So I try not to base myself off of because everybody's ethics are a little bit different. So like, if these people are extremely poor and their kid's about to die, so they go to the store and they steal bread to feed their kid. Well, they just committed a crime, and that's theft. That's robbery in a sense. So, but they're doing it to save another life. So, like at the same time, like that ethics can now be a blurred line because it's saving the young girl. I wouldn't be mad at that, but I also wouldn't want my stuff stolen from me. So who's right, who's wrong? So you start getting into the mentality of man, and man's trying to put man on it to understand it. So when man tries to put man on things to say what man should do, we stop being the divine. We stop being God. So like if we're trying to put ethical placement on it, I feel like or it seems as if when you approach with ethics, you're stuck in the realm of men and you're not stuck in the world of divinity. So whenever we approach with that, we only get limiting things because everything is always changing. The person who steals to feed their dying kid, they're considered a hero in the movies. But if that was your business and there's all these, people stealing from you, why would you convict this person? when the person over here wouldn't be convicted. They actually went to jail. They had to pay. They didn't have the money to pay for that fine, but because they got caught, now they have to pay a fine. Their family's on their last dollar. They're probably even in debt. That actually put them back. Now they're going to starve and they need the bread now. Now, actually, it's created a scenario to where they now have to go steal more. So it's almost like the thing begets the thing begets the thing. So I try not to operate too much in the mindset of humanity or I'll become more like one. I'm not trying to be animalistic or like a beast in nature or anything like that. But whenever I always approach with these things, it's a never-ending discussion. I can simply reflect on what has given me the most power in life because to be divine shows to express power. This is why I always say people who are spiritual, but they're broke, they're going through hardships, everything's a battle, they're always battling the devil, they're always in war or like spiritual warfare and all this other stuff is like, bro, like I don't want that life. That's not something I'm wanting. So these people are always struggling, always needing a miracle to come through. Some people, that they come to me and they say like, bro, if you're so spiritual, you should be giving the guide for free. But I look at them and I'm like, but you have no money in your bank account. So if I listen to you, I'll become you. How will I provide for my family and my loved ones if I take your advice when you have nothing? You're coming in judgment, which means you're offended, which means you're already set back and your spirituality that you claim isn't even real because it's just your own core beliefs. This is why people ask me, I have to hit all these things to make the world of it, but I'll come to the point here at the end. But like people ask me, hey, Mikey, do you believe in God? Well, whenever it comes to the approach of God, whenever you hear people talk about God, specifically God, G-O-D, capital G, lowercase g, whatever, it always comes with a set of characteristics. God is this, but not that. For God to be this, but not that shows a limitation, which means this isn't the absolute. You can't be this, but not that, which means you're not the absolute of everything. So whenever I see God or embrace the source, it's everything. It's life and death. It's murder and theft. It's now I'm not telling people to go steal or kill. Don't do that. I'm not condoning murder or anything like that. That's not what I'm saying. But when you look out into the world, God wants to experience itself through every single action. So God will be the person who eats meat. God will be the person who eats plants. God will be the person who kills. God will be the person who resurrects, who does the miracle and bring the dead back from the living. God will be the homeless person under the bridge who smells like piss and hasn't taken a shower in like 3 months is just as much God as a person who's a preacher, a pastor on the pulpit, or the Pope, or anything else. Because the truest form of source of divinity in itself is just consciousness. And the consciousness wants to experience everything. That's what it's trying to do. But because people are so disconnected from what it is, it has to do it person by person. But I believe it seems as if the truest source, which is consciousness, from what I've seen, is wanting somebody to embody it so it can experience everything through them. So in my own life, I'm trying to experience everything I can versus disconnecting and dissociating myself and saying, I can't do that. I only have to do this. Because the consciousness from what I've seen, it gives you more life when you go experience more stuff. But when you become stagnant in your life, it takes life from you because you're not fulfilling its purpose. So in that, I've eaten everything. I've been vegan for some time. I've been keto. I've been carnivore. I've been not so much paleo, but I've been low carb, high carb, this, that, fasting, water fasting, running, and all this other stuff. So now I don't even eat animals. I haven't even eaten animals technically, like entirely, besides the blood and stuff like that, in about almost a year. So I would be more vegan than the person who eats maybe and slips up here and there when I don't even need food as much. So I'm actually coming to the point where I came out of it, but I'm able to come out of it because I've been so much in it. So with the whole ethics and like wrapping this up, right? Ethics are a man-made approach for a limited state of understanding. When you truly understand what reality is, every conversation and topic goes infinitely inward and infinitely outward, meaning there's no such thing as truth. If you say stealing and thievery is bad, okay, it's bad. That means the guy who stole for his daughter who's on their deathbed and dying is evil. Well, when we stop there, like, well, is the guy bad because he's only stealing it for his daughter because that's all he really had? You're like, well, it's not that evil. But the guy could have got up and got a job and like just did, being part of society. Okay, he's evil again, but he actually got rejected and somebody lied about him, and now he has a rape case on his thing, and now he can't even get hired because some woman lied about him and said that he raped him even whenever he didn't. Okay, now it's good. So what I'm saying, like, it's there's no truth. Like, it's whatever light a person puts it in. So whenever we say ethics, it's a limited approach to what reality is, because every conversation is infinite, and you can literally talk and sway any conversation side to side every single way infinitesimally. So that's why, like, usually whenever I speak, I have to hit this point, this point, this point, this point, this point, because in the consciousness of what we're in, every factor is impeding on what we're actually coming to the interpretation of. So there is no truth. There's just a point where we don't have the conscious engagement, and we have to say, okay, this is just going to be bad. I don't have the conscious energy to think that far. So I'm going to say, okay, thievery's bad, no matter what. But if we take the next step further, we find out it's not that bad, then it's like a gray area, then it's this, then it's that. And then we can speak on just that one topic for literally 50 years. And they're still passing laws like, is this bad? Is it not? And some of these laws have been in effect for hundreds of years. Should a woman be able to bring her breast out in public and feed a baby? Some people say no, some people say yes. Well, why not? She's feeding her kid. What if her kid? So to the point I'm making here is ethics comes from a limited approach that's trying to make it make sense to man who have a limited consciousness, who aren't going to the fullest extent of divinity because they don't have the energy for it. So they have to just label it as this is bad. But it's not that it's bad or good, because there is no good or bad or evil or whatever. There's just simply the stunt of consciousness, because God's source itself is both light and darkness, death and light, pain and pleasure. It's all things. And what it's truly wanting, from what I've seen so far, is to experience all that through an individual who's ever bold enough to do it. So if I have to eat animals, okay, I'll do it. But also, there's a long time in my life where I didn't eat animals, and I experienced the whole vegan life myself. Nothing against this. Why you never hear me be against veganism. I'm not against it. I will call ideologies that people hold on to or titles stupid and dumb, but I'll never consider a person and their religious or their belief or anything like that dumb. It's not, it's what we hold on to, our limitations, that make us dumb, not what we're doing. Our actions aren't dumb. It's the way we limit ourselves. So if a person says carnivore, that's stupid. It's dumb. Why? If a person is just fasting, why? It's stupid. It's dumb. Because they're fasting not to go to the fullest progression of the expansion of life. They're fasting because they want the title. Hey, I fasted. Hey, I'm this. Hey, this is my name. Hey, I am Mikey the breather. Hey, I'm this. And the title that they make for themselves is the nail in the coffin. That's where they die. But consciousness is tired of people dying. It wants people to live. So it's trying to have all things expressed through all people. But if people get wrapped up in ethics, they suffocate themselves by their own grayness, because they don't even have ethics. They don't even know what it is. So is it good if I ceremonially kill the animal, besides the machine in the industry? So and it's a continuous conversation. So with all that being stated, that's my approach to the ethics of it. Now, I've seen lions eat people. I've seen sheep eat birds. I've seen horses eat baby chicks. I've seen cows eat snakes, and also deers eat snakes. I've seen herbivores. I've seen all the animals out there eat other animals. So to me, and I'm not coming against anybody, if a person is ethical in their approach dietarily, right, but they kill mosquitoes or flies, they are a hypocrite. That fly is no more invaluable than that cow or that chicken. That mosquito that you kill that's trying to suck your blood, that's just as important as that chicken. So why would you kill that thing, but not that? Because it's an aesthetic thing. It's a bias. It's this doesn't look as pretty as that. That chicken's beautiful, but the mosquito's dumb. But there's also protozoa. Whenever we step and we walk, and we're killing millions of them as we, walk in the grass. Oh, I'm going to go ground on the earth. You're literally killing environments, ecosystems, and wildlife. So, but the thing is, if we say that's bad, but not that, it's not that, it's the argument. It's that is the extent of our consciousness as far as we want to go. So to end this all up and like wrap it up, if we were to live in the true divinity of what life actually is, we wouldn't even walk on the grass. We would float everywhere, because that's how divine we would have to be to uphold an ethics that were made by man. We would literally have to be God. But I see no one being that.
Yeah, thanks, Mikey. I mean, lots to unpack here. It's almost, when we talk about that ethics, it's, from what I understand, is almost kind of two things. One being the fact that in life, it's not always black and white. Like you mentioned, someone stealing because they need to feed their daughter, for example. So, and then you'll have the same in in veganism, right? We're like, oh yeah, but you're getting your avocado from South America and there's like so many insects that died. Well, if you ate your chicken, maybe you would have a better, like more lives saved for animals overall. So there's one thing where there's usually the fact that it's not that simple in a way. And then another thing I feel is that in the grand scheme of things, there's also no such thing as evil, right? So to me, it's almost two different things. One is like, okay, that person that was stealing to help her daughter, it's actually not evil. Even as a human, as you said, if we could watch a movie about that person and there'd be a hero. As a human, I feel it's actually not evil. But then in the grand scheme of things, even things that as a human, most of us would agree is like, oh, that's pure evil, like Hitler, these kind of things. In the grand scheme of things, they're not even, because part of the play of consciousness and in the higher dimensions, like the angels and the demons are like organizing together, because sometimes we need something to fight against, to come together, or to find our own light, our own power. And I believe in that too. For me, it's like, it seems contradictory, because it's like everything is perfect and I'm here to make the world better. But if it's perfect, what are you going to make better? You know what I mean? But I kind of live in the contradiction that I'm both the universe and I'm in awareness of the perfection of all. And at the same time, I'm here fractalized in this body mind complex. I'm like, okay, I want to do good. I want to make the world better, even if it's already perfect. And yeah, and in that, for me, right, I'm not lecturing anyone, but for me, in my situation, which is I'm not living in scarcity where I feel like I need to eat, like I feel I can be healthy without animal products as much as possible. So I'm like, okay, I can do that. And that's where I feel things are aligned for me right now. But yeah, I kill mosquitoes, for example, when they come and bite me.
Me too.
The,
I definitely
the,
do. I do not like mosquitoes. If I was God, I'd be
the
like, why did I do
yeah,
this thing?
the way I rationalize it for me is like, to me that there's kind of levels. And for example, vegans, they would tell me that's speciesism and that's not right. But to me, it's like there is a certain intuition where I feel like I value a human life more than animal lives. And then even within animals, I feel, okay, if I feel you have more emotions and that you feel pain more, for example, as an animal, or you're smarter, there's all these bunch of things that I couldn't really justify, because you could come to me and be like, how do you know the mosquitoes like isn't like feeling so much and being like, oh, and the baby mosquitoes missing their mom and all this. Ultimately, I don't know, but there's
Mama.
just an intuition. There's an intuition for me about it, of what to where I'm at is okay or not for me, you know. And to a Jaina monk, what I'm doing with not sweeping in front of my feet is a bit cruel, and maybe I should do better. But yeah, that's a little bit where I'm at. But in that view, yeah, I do have a preference, if people can and they can feel healthy with it, that they try to not go too much towards like, yeah, killing and or feeding themselves from dead things in general. That's what I feel.
100%. And then also, like, where's the conversation going to? Is it going towards celebration? Are we feeling guilty now? Are we feeling shameful? Are we feeling
Mm,
like free? Like, oh man, because the more good I feel, the less I kill. The
mm,
better I feel, the less I actually eat. So you want to help somebody not eat as much meat or whatever, help them feel good, man. Because people eat, like you're saying, sometimes out of emotional scarcity. So because they feel
yeah,
bad, they just binge eat. So like, if you guys really care, who are hearing this message, because I got to read some of the comments too, and 99% of the comments were awesome. There's like one or
yeah,
two people like me, but like, the majority of the world's happy, right? Like they try to put negative news out there. A lot of people are happy, but the best way to help anybody is to show them how much you care anyway. So when we have this conversation, we talk about ethics and we talk about veganism or eating or the ethics or whatever, all this stuff. Like, how are we actually feeling in the moment? Because if we walk away from this taken, we're going to have to go consume. And chances are the person who eats meat is going to eat more meat. But if we help bring goodness and love and vibrance into the world to where people feel so satisfied, they'll be full of our conversation. They'll eat less meat anyway. So if you guys want people to eat less meat, then make the world feel good. You do that, they'll be full off your energy. And that's why we get this. We try to put out so much freaking energy that the whole world gets full off of us.
Yeah, I love that.
Is this a better play? You're smiling, man. That was the dad stealing for the daughter and this and that. Like, oh man. But now you're like, yeah, dude. You feel good. That smile is the receipt of bliss. So go and find bliss and fill yourself full of joy, and then like you'll smile and you won't have to eat. It's just
Yeah.
it's such a good way.
Yeah, I mean that's why to me I'm not like a vegan activist or for example, when I talk about it, like I have people in my comment, oh, you're not really a vegan because this and that, and I don't care. It's okay, and I'm not, for many reasons. And when I feel people who are so identified with vegan is right and I'm a vegan also kind of put themselves into a bit of a prison for their mind, and ultimately there are gonna be things where they're also gonna be not in alignment, like killing the mosquito, for example, or you can always go to a level where it's not in alignment. Yeah.
But even like you hit it spot on. They said veganism is right. If I came on this show, on Adam's show, I'm sorry, Alex's show, and I was like, I'm right, you guys are wrong, no one's gonna listen to me. If I said like, all you guys are wrong, veganism is wrong, and this and that, I'm right, I'm not gonna win anybody over. I'm gonna have a very low success rate. So for you guys out there doing that, like if you want to be successful here, let me help you, bro, sis. Be loving. Because if you go in with pride or arrogance or like egotism or whatever you want to consider, like no one's going to hear you anyway. So you might as well step and approach in love. Like, hey, there might be a better way. Let's try. Let us sup together. That's the whole point of God. God just wants communion. Okay. So when you guys go out there to show your point, if you go out there trying to be right, even Alex was like, man, you guys are trying to come on me. I'm not a real vegan. That doesn't make him want to be more of this. But when you go in love, like, hey, Alex, I think you're doing a great job. Like, hey, it may be speciesism or whatever, but at least you're trying. I respect that. He's going to be encouraged by the community. You guys be more encouraging, love each other. And that message cannot be demonized. Love each other more. No matter if they eat meat or eat just plants or whatever, when you love, it fulfills the fulfillment of the whole of what action they were doing. People stop stealing as much. People stop hating as much. People stop even eating as much. And people start to listen once they know how much you care. Step in love, and I'm telling you, you're going to change the world, guys. So if you go with that, you'll have a higher success rate. I'm with you. Eat just plants. Cool, do it. I don't care. Like I'm not against you guys. You know?
Thanks, Mikey. Maybe to like we've gone for over 2 hours, so let's
This
wrap
is
it up soon.
beautiful.
But I'm curious about like has it been for you the polyamory? Because I'm curious about that because something else you do differently, but I do notice you've done it. It's like a long-term polyamory. Is that like you're fucking around? I think you've been married 15 years with your wife, and
Yeah,
you're with
15 years
a
this.
lover for many years or so.
Yeah. So I've been with Sasha for 15 years this summer, and then we just celebrated. Lay and I just celebrated our 6-year anniversary. I've been polyamorous. I like polyamorous is the best way to describe it, right? But I'm not your typical polyamorous guy. But either way, I've been polyamorous since like 2017. So I've had multiple partners consistently since 2017. So almost 10 years now. Back in America, I had 6 different partners slash lovers who I was living with. And it's always about freedom and acceptance. And some of them are closer than others. So some of them have other partners, and then some of them may go out and see other people. Some of them just want me and they say, hey, I want to dedicate myself to you. So there's like different, I guess, fields of it, right? Some of them are like, hey, like I want to be with you, Mikey, but also I'm also seeing the other people. Yeah, no judgment. Go ahead, be with them. And it's funny because sometimes the guys who got with them find out about me and they'll DM me like, hey, dude, I got your girl and blah, 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 blah. I'm like, yeah, man, that's what we have. Like totally cool with it. Like all good, man. Because it's like the pride and the arrogance. Oh yeah, I'm like, no, they're a free person. They're not a piece of property. I don't own them. Um, but the polyamory is a very interesting thing because especially now, especially now. Even back then, it wasn't so much about this, but especially now, it's definitely not because I practice tantric energy movement. Some might call it semen retention, but not quite that. A little bit different. But I don't ejaculate. So to be with all of these beautiful women and not ejaculate, my primary drive is not sex. It's something so far beyond that. And some of them I may go months without having intercourse with, and that's totally cool because it's an understood level. So my approach is never about sex, because I don't know if I need to explain why, but either way, it allows it to go so much deeper. So even whenever new girls come in, right? So like everybody knows me. Like if they don't know me, they can look me up real quick and find out and everything else. I have a lot of women who are interested in being with me. Like I get hit up usually every day by a new person wanting to come be with me or fly out or whatever. So, and then they always ask like, what will we be doing? I'm like, oh yeah, we'll be meditating. They're like, but what else will we be doing? Uh, Probably just going to the woods, climbing a tree, something like that. Okay, yeah. But will we be sleeping together? It's like they are more. The women, the ladies are more about the sex than I am. I'm like, bro, like I practice tantric stuff, so like I won't even. It's not even that big of a deal. So they're more interested in that part than even I am, which is very funny being the guy on this side. Like these women are kind of aggressive nowadays, but it's beautiful because every energy, just like I travel, I'm in Nepal now and I'll be going to China soon. And I've been to Mongolia, Korea, I've been to Laos and Cambodia. I've been South America, North America, Canada, Mexico, Costa Rica. I've been all over the world, right? Every place has a different energy. And every time you're in that energetic field, it unlocks a certain factor inside of you. And then you incorporate that into your being. The people are the same. Every time you have because every woman's the same. They're all different. They are all different. Like no two partners I've ever had have been the same. And I don't know if I want to. Guys, don't judge me, okay? You can judge me if you want. Actually, I don't care if you judge me. Whatever. I've been with hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of women. I don't know, like hundreds, like higher triple digits. Okay, I've had my fair share. Because people just want to be around me. It's not something I'm pursuing. I'm just here, and people. Same thing, right? When I go, this is perfect. So for the guys who hear me out, this is going to help you. I didn't expect to go here. This is so cool. All right. When I go out and I love everyone around me, I love my Uber driver, I love the people at the government office, the visa, and I just put out this energy. Women feel that. And they're like, what the heck is this? And they'll come. I have women approach me every time I go out, like women approach me. They want to get my number or whatever. Okay. And a lot of times they're the one who wants to lead it into the bedroom. A lot of women, actually, this is funny. If I don't have intercourse with them the first night, they get offended at me and they got mad at me and they will block me and ghost me because they're like they want it. And if you don't do that, they're like, what the heck? Am I not pretty enough? And there's a whole thing I got to go through. Like, no, you're pretty. I'm just, want to take it slow. Crazy, very crazy stuff. But when you get all this energy from reality in any way you can, whether you eat plants or animals, whatever, just get as much energy, and then you put it out in love, and you put out that vibe around you. The ladies are just naturally attracted to you, and they just want to be around that good energy, non-controlling, non-manipulative, non-judgmental. Like a lot of women, I've had women fly out from like Australia and the US like multiple times, like all people from all over fly out to come be with me for some time. And the number one thing that happens whenever women first fly out is besides the long air trip and everything else, right? Is they will come over and for like the first 2 or 3 days, they'll sleep for like 13 to 15 hours sometimes because the air in this house and around me is so loving that they they're no longer on guard trying to like, oh, okay, is this and that? And they finally can relax for the first time, sometimes in years. They'll just sleep for like the first 3 days for like 12 to 15 hours because they finally feel that peace because there's so much peace in the air. And that's what a lot of people are looking for. So for myself, I have these people around me, specifically women. All right. If dudes want to come, it's a different story because, like I'm not really into guys. I think they're great. I don't consider myself heterosexual. I don't consider myself bisexual. I don't consider myself polyamorous. I don't consider myself homosexual. I consider myself just a living being, and that gives me a lot of agency to move in whatever. Never been with a guy, but if it happened, cool. That's not really my thing. I like women. So when the women come, each one of them bring a different factor that unlocks something in me. So whenever I got around a specific, there was a girl recently came in my life. She was tall. She was like one of the taller girls who I was with. Being with her, I think actually helped triggered the growth in me because she was tall. There was less things I had to do that was for shorter people. So I think her just being around me actually grew me in height. When Lay came around, I got more energy. When Sasha came around, I got more structure. So every girl brings a different power into my life that they get to feed off the good energy and they don't have to work or anything like that. And I get to live off of the energy that they help unlock inside of myself. So it's a symbiotic relationship. So that's why I like polyamory, not just for the intercourse. It's not even about that, but for the power it unlocks in me and them.
I love how open you are, man. Cool. And regarding the, I mean, we don't want to label it too much. It's a bit different, but what you referred to as kind of semen retention. So
Mhm.
you don't ejaculate ever? I mean,
Oh man.
like almost like super rarely. Because I know for many people, if we do like tantric practices, semen retention and stuff, I know for me, for example, if I don't do for months, it might come in the sleep or something.
Oh, that's cool. That's really cool. Okay, cool. Yeah, we can get into that. Okay. First off, I have to have a disclaimer. Guys, if you were doing this out of sheer force or willpower and it's not an effortless flow to do it, stop. If you ever have to convince yourself or grit your teeth, no, I'm not going to, you're doing it wrong. It should just be a natural thing. Like it's all good. You don't have to force yourself. If you ejaculate, NBD, no big deal. It happens. All good. You didn't fail in life. Okay. So a lot of people are doing things nowadays out of force. Like, okay, gotta be disciplined. There is absolutely zero discipline in everything I ever tell you. If Mikey's telling you to do something, understand it's never in force. It's never in self manipulation. It's never in willpower. It's never in discipline. Okay. So semen retention to not eating to all this other stuff, it's always in grace, love, peace, and just flows. Okay. So this is why I tell a lot of the dudes in my Discord community that, hey, look, if you don't feel the call to do semen retention or like the tantric using of energy, then ejaculate all you want, because there might be a day to where you're getting that call and you're not going to do it anymore, or you're not going to do it as much. And guess what? I I haven't eaten in 280 days. I haven't ejaculated in, I'll get to when last time I did it, but I may ejaculate maybe sometimes 10 times a year or something like that. Something I used to do it sometimes 3 times a day. Okay. So I went from multiple times a day, like 1,000 times a year, to sometimes, like a percent of that, just 10 times a year. And guess what? I've given up a lot of earthly pleasures to come live this life. And because I get to live in power. I gave up the pleasure to live in power, but it was never by force or discipline. It was by acceptance. Okay, cool. I'm willing to do this. And it was a smooth transition. But if you're doing it prematurely, you're going to miss it and you're going to relapse. You're going to fall back and you're going to feel guilty. And that guilt creates a vortex of shame that puts you down. Like you're not good enough. You can't even hold your none of that stuff. You guys are strong. You guys are powerful. You guys are mighty. You were born. So you just being born, even if you're a woman, hear me out. You just being born shows that you have the power of God inside of you. So please never feel guilty, never feel ashamed, never feel put down, because it only suppresses your power. Okay. So you never failed. You just learned a lesson. So, but if you do feel called to be ready to go into this, I got into this. It was funny. I had a question from one of my followers. They're like, hey man, do you practice semen retention? And I was like, no, I do not. And that 2 days later, like that time period, it really hit me. It's like, well, why don't I? What's going on? Why am I giving up? Man, okay, I'm gonna be a little bit more transparent. So I was touched inappropriately by a girl when I was 6 years old. She was 17. And ever since the age of 6, I've been like hyper sexual. I'm just really like, oh my God, like, yeah. But I didn't have my first, intimacy with a woman or a lady until I was like 16. So like 10 years of just suppression and like, and like chronic masturbation and all this other stuff, like trying to get it out because I didn't know what to do with this energy. I didn't know how to move it and stuff like that. She touched me. It woke me up. From then on, it was like sometimes I would, release 2, 3 times a day, sometimes more if I had time alone and stuff like that. So with all that being stated, I was extremely hyperactive. So whenever I came into the Philippines, man, the Filipinos loved me. So like it was it was a free for all. Like it was fun. Like they loved to be with me. So I remember the first like 2 days I was there, I actually didn't go to sleep because I was having intercourse all night. They would come over at night around like 12 o'clock at night, and I would stay up until the sunrise. And now that the sun's up, I didn't want to go to sleep because if I sleep now, I'm going to feel like crap. So I stayed up for like 2 or 3 days just having intercourse with like all these different girls. And then that dude's like question hit me. It's like, hey, do you practice semen retention? And I thought to myself, I like the sun rose one. It's almost like the light was dawned on me. It's like, bro, you spent the past 3 days awake having intercourse with all these women just spilling. Why are you just giving this? We don't even know these people, man. Like, why are you just giving this energy away? You can save it. So from then on, I started still having intercourse, but not releasing. And in the beginning, it was kind of tough. I'm like, whoa, what's this? What's this? What's this? But now that was like 2020. That was like January 2023, like December 2022, January 2023, somewhere in that time. And I've been doing it ever since. Uh, I've noticed different things with it. You can really, really, really influence reality with this energy if you do it right. But you have to already be in a honed state. If you don't know what energy is, or you have toxins, it's going to really jack you up because this stuff needs to release. It's like if you need to poop, just poop. If you need to pee, just pee. If you need to release, you're like you were saying, like even in your sleep, your body will release it because it needs to. It's okay. There's no judgment. The religions and all this other stuff really put suppression on that, like, oh, you better not do this to suppress people. But it's a natural function that even if you don't do it, your body will do it because it wants to stay alive. It's doing this so it can keep you healthy in a sense. But I've come to the point where I have done a tantric way where I stimulate myself to generate the energy, but I've also done it where no anything. Like I am completely celibate and I'm practicing abstinence and I'm not doing I'm not even touching myself. I've noticed that if I don't stimulate myself, my testes start to shrink up and they don't produce as much because whatever you don't use, you lose, use it or lose it type of thing. So like it has to constantly be stimulated. So now I'm in a state where I'm constantly stimulated, but I'm not releasing. I still have girlfriends here and there. Like, I'm in Nepal. I've been with multiple girls here and stuff like that. We've had, intimate times and whatever, but I won't release. I haven't released probably almost like a month and a half. So I might release every month and a half. At the lowest time, maybe like every 3 weeks, but it's usually anywhere from 3 weeks to about a month and a half. And that's a good cycle for me personally because I reabsorb it. And I believe that's what makes my skin glow and all this other stuff, along with everything in the guide. Now, I said all that to say this. If you don't do semen retention, it is okay. It's totally fine. I don't have semen retention in the guide because that's something so advanced. If you still have toxins in your environment, you won't even get the main effects from it. If you're not eating A through zinc, you're not going to get the main effects from it. If you're not doing the thing for the room that I tell you guys to do, or the meditation or the breathing, it won't even be that effective. But if you're doing all that stuff, you have all this energy, you have everything aligned, then you go into semen retention, it's like, dude, you're like Superman. It's a whole other level. It's beyond others, I think, because now you're not just trying to retain your seed because of women or out of spite or like, I'm a man, I need to do it, because now you can actually feel the electrical charge through you and now you're just moving energy. That's why I like to call it semen retention, because it's not semen retention. It's energetic, it's energetic direction. So it's energy direction.
Thanks, Mikey.
Totally.
Yeah. Very interesting. Okay. Like 2 hours and a half now. Thank you so much for people still being with us. Like you're enjoying the conversation and taking part. And of course, if you want to join even more, you can always share your thoughts in the comment section of YouTube. Ask your questions there. I'll look at them, all of them, reply to most of them, and I'm sure Mikey, you'll have a look too. Thank you. Thank you so much, Mikey. I think we covered quite a lot already. Is there anything else you want to share with me and the audience today?
Totally. I want you guys to know this. Like no matter what, I love you. It's not about being better than other people or trying to do some sort of discipline or whatever. Just I'm just here to be love. That's it. If people say, well, you can't be love if you're doing this to animals, it's like, look, I'm trying the best I can. Show me grace until I get there. Like, okay, if I'm not on your level, then instead of being pessimistic or spiteful towards me, just be loving and try to help me. That would win me over even more than be like, oh, you're not good enough. You haven't seen the true way of spirituality. That does not make me want to listen to what you have to say. Okay. And me and many others out there are willing to hear anybody's voice if they're willing to come in love. Remember, we don't care how much you know until we know how much you care. You do that, man, like you can win the world. So I'm here for you guys. I love you. Alex is doing amazing. Guys, support him, have his back, like this video, put it on repeat, even if you're not listening to it in the background, so you can like raise and stack up views. If you guys are interested in the guide, I'm giving him a special code to where you guys can get money off from the guide. He gets a kickback from it. It supports the channel. And just know everything I'm doing is the best that I've learned so far. And I'm trying to just be the greatest. Oh my gosh, yes. I'm trying to be the greatest catalyst of the evolutionary expansive growth in your life possible, so we can all live on higher levels to, or maybe eventually one day we won't even need to eat anything or even drink stuff. And if my results and my testimonies aren't living proof of that, then hey, look, it's all good. But if you are interested in the guide, you're going to support Alex, you're going to support yourself. And that's all we're really here to do at the end of the day. So I love you, Alex. Thank you for having me on again. I think this is probably the greatest interview I've ever done. We went deep and a little tense sometimes, but man, this was so amazing. And you guys just play this on repeat and take notes.
Yeah, thank you, Mikey. And yeah, I wanted to just like go really deep and take our time this time, because the first one was 1 hour. I was packed. It was a great presentation, but I like also this style where I feel people could feel you even more. I could definitely have a deeper feel with you, just, you know, sitting down and talking for 2 hours and a half. And yeah, I feel really inspired. So thank you, brother.
My heart's for you guys. Like, I really love y'all, and I promise, like there's no ill will in me. You can call me whatever slur, whatever derogatory name. I love you guys. You know, even Jesus said, "Hey, forgive them, Father. They don't know what they do." Same way, like I just love you guys, and if you guys want to show love back, I promise I will always receive and accept your love, because it's needed in this world.
Thank you. Much love, everyone. Thank you, Mikey.